My name is Kamche Menza, and these proceedings are streaming live from the Parliament buildings in Nairobi. A broadcast that is brought to you by the statements that will be responded to, and taking a look at the statement that will be responded to this afternoon. This is pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 44, paragraph 2, part C. That the statement by the Honorable Member for Busia County, Honorable Catherine Omanyo, with regards to harassment of Kenyan fishermen in Lake Victoria, will this afternoon be responded to after this particular statement was committed to the relevant committee, and this is the Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations. So this afternoon, the Honorable Member for Busia County will be receiving response to this particular statement. That is the entrance of the National Assembly chambers. Members are making their way into the House, ready for the afternoon sitting. And in just a while, the House will commence its business. Those are some of the members who are already in the chambers. The report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022 by the chair of the Health Committee, this is Honorable Robert Pukose, is a bill that was considered at the Committee of the Whole House, if you recall, during the Wednesday afternoon sitting, which was a resumption of a sitting or a Committee of the Whole House stage that had begun earlier. And this afternoon, this particular bill will be proceeding to the next stage for third reading. A question will be put for the bill to be read a third time. This is a bill whose some of the clauses provide for the manufacture of medicinal substances upon the issuance of a manufacturing license, renewable annually by the Kenya Drugs Authority in compliance with good manufacturing practices. This is a bill that generally provides for the establishment of the authority, the Kenya Drugs Authority, and also outlining some of the mandates. Some of the clauses also indicate that the bill provides for the regulation of therapeutic cosmetics, prohibits the sale of therapeutic cosmetic that contains a substance that may cause injury to a user's health when there is adherence to the directions on the label, as well as the preparation of therapeutic cosmetic under unsanitary conditions. The Kenya Drugs Authority is also empowered to prohibit any ingredient in therapeutic cosmetics. The bill also provides for the regulation of medical devices. The bill further penalizes the sale of adulterated and substandard medical devices and medical devices which have not been registered by the Kenya Drugs Authority, and further requires compliance with standards of manufacturing, labeling, packaging, sale, or advertising of medical devices. So these are some of the clauses in the bill. And this report this afternoon, in a motion that will be moved by the Honorable Robert Pukose, then it will be considered and give it way or pave way for it to move to the next stage. This afternoon, the members will also consider the Kenya Roads Board Amendment Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly, Bill number 18 of 2024. This is a bill that is sponsored by the leader of the majority party. A bill that seeks to align or amend Section 7.1 and the first schedule to the Kenya Roads Board Act 1999 to reduce the membership of the board and the institutions from which the membership may be nominated. Also seeks to align the definition of minister with the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which replaced it with Cabinet Secretary. This is a bill that is lined up for second reading this afternoon. And members will be debating this particular bill at the second reading stage is where or when the members debate a bill to look at its contents before it proceeds to the next stage. Members will also consider motion on the mediated version of the National Rating Bill, a bill also originating from the National Assembly. That is the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Boss. Allow me to hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Honorable members, let us pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the officers of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants who are here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interest you have committed to our charge. Amen. Sergeant at Arms, you may ring the bell for 5 minutes.
That directive for the quorum bell to be rung is an indication that the House lacks the requisite quorum for the business to commence. It is a House that abides by the rules, and therefore that quorum has to be attained for the business to commence. Members will continue to make their way into the chambers, but once that quorum is achieved, then the business will commence. The consideration of the mediated version of the National Rating Bill, a bill originating from the National Assembly, will this afternoon be considered. The National Rating Bill provides for a comprehensive framework for imposition of rates of land, and buildings by county governments, to provide for the valuation of rateable property, and to provide for the appointment and powers of valuers, and also to provide for the establishment powers and functions of the National Rating Tribunal. So that is a bill that this afternoon, the mediated version of it will be considered before the floor of the House. The Sergeant at Arms has indicated that the quorum has been achieved. I will now hand you over to this live broadcast brought to you by PBU in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Sergeant at Arms, you may stop the bell. We may proceed. First order. You may read out the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair. Order number 3, messages.
Honorable members, I have a message from the Senate. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41-4, I wish to report that to the House that I have received a message from the Senate regarding its decision on the National Assembly's amendments to the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024. Honorable members, the message conveys that on Wednesday, the 23rd of October 2024, the Senate considered and rejected the National Assembly's amendments to the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024. Honorable members, you will recall that this House considered and passed the said bill with amendments on Wednesday, 14th August 2024, and thereafter I referred the bill back to the Senate for reconsideration in accordance with the provisions of Article 112(1)(b) of the Constitution. Honorable members, the rejection by the Senate of the National Assembly's amendments to the County Government's Additional Allocations Bill, Senate Bill number 19 of 2024, effectively committed the bill to the Mediation Committee pursuant to the provisions of Article 112(2)(b) of the Constitution. In this regard, the Speaker of the Senate has appointed the following senators to the Mediation Committee on the bill. 1, Senator Tabitha Mutinda, MP. 2, Senator William Kipkorir Cheptumo, MP. 3, Senator George Muigai Mbugwa, MP. 4, Senator Abbas Sheikh Mohammed, MP. 5, Senator Gloria Arwoba, MP. 6, Senator Enoch Wambua, MP. 7, Senator Moses Kajwang, MP. 8, Senator Catherine Muma, MP. And lastly, 9, Senator Jonas Mwaruma, MP. Honorable members, for the Mediation Committee to be fully constituted, the National Assembly is required to appoint 9 members to sit in the committee. I therefore call upon the leadership of the majority and minority parties in the House to expeditiously nominate members to represent the National Assembly in the Mediation Committee. At an appropriate time, I will then communicate to the House the National Assembly members appointed to the Mediation Committee once finalized. The House is accordingly guided. Thank you. You may sit down, honorable members, then I can read the next message. Honorable members, you may be seated. Honorable members, I have another message from the Senate on the passage of 3 bills. Honorable members, pursuant to Standing Order 41-1, I wish to report to the House that on the 6th of November 2024, I received 3 messages from the Senate regarding the passage of 1 National Assembly bill and 2 Senate bills. Honorable members, the first message states that on 8th October 2024, the Senate considered and passed the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023 with amendments. You will recall that the National Assembly considered and passed the said bill with amendments on the 6th of December 2023, following which I referred it to the Senate for consideration. Honorable members, the second and third messages convey that on 8th October 2024, the Senate considered and passed the T Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2023, and Maternal, Newborn, and Child Health Bill, Senate Bills number 17 of 2023, with amendments. The Senate now seeks the concurrence of the National Assembly on the 2 bills. Honorable members, with regard to the Gambling Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 70 of 2023, the House is required to consider the Senate amendments to the bill in line with the bicameral architecture of our legislative process on bills concerning county governments. I hereby direct the clerk to circulate the Senate amendments to the bill to all members as required by the standing orders. In the meantime, the message from the Senate, together with a schedule of Senate amendments, stand referred to the Departmental Committee on Sports and Culture for consideration. Honorable members, in order for the House to commence consideration of the T Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2023, and Maternal, Newborn, and Child Health Bills, Senate Bills number 17 of 2023, I further direct the clerk to schedule the 2 Senate bills for first reading at the next sitting. Thereafter, the T Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2023, will stand committed to the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock, while the Maternal, Newborn, and Child Health Bill, Senate Bills number 17 of 2023, will stand committed to the Departmental Committee on Health for consideration. Honorable members, with regard to the T Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 1 of 2023, the Speaker of the Senate notified that pursuant to Standing Order 162.2 of the Standing Order, Senator Wakili Hilary Sigei, MP, sponsor of the said bill, has designated the member for Konoin, Honorable Brighton Yegon, MP, to be co-sponsor of the bill in the National Assembly. In this regard, the Honorable Yegon will be responsible for marshalling consideration of the bill in the National Assembly. I urge the respective committees to which these 3 bills have been referred to prioritize their consideration and report to the House as soon as practicable to enable the House to proceed with the next stages of the bill. The House is accordingly guided. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, November 7th, 2024. 1, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2024, and the certificates therein in respect of 1, the Kenya Primary Education Equity in Learning Disbursed Linked Indicator, Program Credit number 7067-KE, Teacher Service Commission. 2, Study and Capacity Building Fund Project, Grant number CKE 6015, CKE 1043, 01F and CKE 1047, 01K of the National Treasury. 3, the National Treasury Capacity Strengthening Project, Grant number 55001550, 013902, ID number PKE K00-011 of the National Treasury. 4 is the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Staff House Mortgage and Car Loan Scheme. And 5, support to water and sanitation services in peri-urban areas, KFW loan number BMZ 2013.6543.6, Adi Water Works Development Agency. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
The first statement is by the member for Bumula, Honorable Wamboka.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 259D2, I rise with a heavy heart to pay a glowing tribute to the late Honorable Suleiman Kasuti Murunga, former Member of Parliament for Kimilili constituency, a distinguished statesman and a patriot. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Suleiman Murunga passed away at the age of 75 on Wednesday, 30th October 2024, after a short illness at MP Shah Hospital, Nairobi, where he was undergoing treatment. His death is a profound loss to his family, friends, and his community, which he served with unwavering commitment and dedication. The late Honorable Suleiman Murunga was born on 20th September 1949. He began his early education at Lutonyi Primary School and later moved to Pumwani Secondary School, where he sat his Kenya National Certificate of Education exams. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Suleiman Murunga worked with many organizations, among them the Barclays Bank, Bank of Commerce and Industry, Kaplan Stratton Farm, Trademark Bank, and Gyro Bank. He was also an accomplished businessman, as was exemplified in his proprietorship of the popular club Simas in Nairobi. He later joined politics and served the people of Kimilili for a period of 5 years from 2013 to 2017 on a Ford Kenya party ticket. He was an active member of the Health Club and Catering Committee and also an active debater in the August House. He will be remembered as a champion for his community, particularly in education, providing bursaries to needy students and effectively utilizing the NGCDF for development and social justice. Honorable Speaker, as a member of Ford Kenya, the late Honorable Suleiman Murunga not only represented his constituents with integrity, but also played a pivotal role as the party's director of elections, contributing significantly to the political landscape of our nation. His legacy will be remembered by many whose lives he touched through his service and leadership. I urge my fellow legislators to honor his memory by continuing the work he was passionate about, advancing the interests of the people we represent and strengthening our democracy. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of this House, may I extend our deepest condolences to the family of the late Honorable Suleiman Murunga, his friends, the people of Kimilili constituency, and the nation at large, as we pray for the soul of Honorable Suleiman Murunga to rest in eternal peace. May we all find solace in the memories of his remarkable life and be inspired by his example. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, before you give your tributes, allow me to amend the order paper very briefly to allow for 2 urgent matters, and then we shall come back to the tributes of Honorable Murunga. Honorable members, allow us to, okay, you can call order number 8. Let's go to order number 8 and 9. And then we shall come back to the tributes.
Order number 8, motion, report of the Committee of the Whole House on the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022. Question to be put and third reading.
Honorable members, I now put the question that the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022 be now read a third time. Will as many as of that opinion? Yes? Oh, and honorable members, apologies. Looks like my order paper was not accurate. Listen. Had the question been proposed? Honorable, because I had the question been proposed. Okay, Honorable Pukose, why don't you consult with the clerk, so then you tell me. Just consult. You guys. No, what you do? Why don't you consult and agree? That's what I said. Okay, honorable members, I shall repeat that. I actually should be putting the question the House do agree. So, honorable members, I now put the question that this House do agree with the report of the Committee of the Whole House on its consideration of the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022. I've put the question. So will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Okay, mover.
Honorable Speaker. Okay. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022, be now read a third time. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill 2022, that's National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022, that I sponsored, was published on 6 October 2022 and went through the first reading on 5th May 2022 and was thereafter committed to the Departmental Committee on Health for consideration. The second reading of the bill was concluded on 18 October 2023, and the bill progressed to the Committee of the Whole House, which was concluded yesterday, 6 November 2024. Honorable Speaker, the Departmental Committee on Health, which I am privileged to chair, had proposed amendments to improve the bill and make it more effective and to address emerging issues such as parallel importation of health products and technologies, pharmacovigilance, and post-market surveillance. Honorable Speaker, noting the pertinent importance of the bill in promoting and guaranteeing the quality, safety, and efficacy and effectiveness of health products and technologies in the country, 7 members, namely Honorable Peter Kaluma, Honorable Dr. Otiende Amolo, Honorable Millie Thiambo, Honorable Irene Mayaka, Honorable Andon Oluoj, Honorable Dr. James Nikal, and Honorable Martin Peter Sowino proposed several amendments. This led to a winnowing process for purposes of harmonization of the proposed amendments from Clause 23. That process, Honorable Speaker, culminated in the amendments that the Committee of the Whole House considered and approved yesterday. I must therefore commend my colleagues in the Health Department and my colleagues who brought the amendments and that who took their time to propose the amendments, participate in the winnowing process, and in the Committee of the Whole House. Their efforts have immensely improved the bill for the benefit of all Kenyans and towards the progressive realization of the right to the highest attainable standard of care guarantee under Article 43 of the Constitution. I must restate, Honorable Speaker, that this bill has re-engineered the current in regulation of human health products and technologies and will move our country to a maturity level 3. The bill also fulfills the country's obligation in the war against poor quality medicines in line with its commitment that Kenya made under the African Union establishment of the African Medicines Agency Treaty that was ratified by this Honorable House. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the honorable members who participated and who had keen interest, especially our majority leader, Honorable Ishungwa, who actually, and yourself, Madam Speaker, who prioritized this bill to make sure that it is seen the day. Thank you, honorable members who participated yesterday, and I move and ask Professor Jaldesa to second. And I also want to thank the chair of the committee of the whole house, the member for Emuhaya, and Mwalimu, a great man, for having yesterday chaired. I want to move and ask Honorable Jaldesa to second.
Honorable Jaldesa, you may proceed.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of the Committee of Health and that of myself, I want to support the bill. The Kenya second the bill. The Kenya Drug Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022, was sponsored by Honorable Dr. Robert Kose. It's a very important piece of legislation. It's a bill that will enhance the health and well-being of Kenyans. It's also a bill that will address emerging challenges that we are facing as a country in terms of the safety of the drugs being sold within or imported from within into the country. I therefore commend Honorable Kukose for conceptualizing and introducing the bill as the country shall now acquire the WHO maturity level 3 that is yet to receive compared to its neighbors. Honorable Speaker, with the bill, Honorable Speaker, we shall have safe and effective drugs, vaccines, and medical devices. And as a healthcare professional myself, I must indicate that the provisions of healthcare services for patients cannot be complete, effective, and comprehensive if patients cannot access quality, safe, and effective medications. This is why the bill is not only timely, but necessary to ensure that the constitutional right to the highest attainable standards of health care.
Honorable Jaldesa, you're almost done because you're debating it all over again.
Yes.
You should
So
just second.
with that, I second the bill.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022 be now read a third time. It's the mood of the House, I should put the question. I therefore put the question, which is that the Kenya Drugs Authority Bill, National Assembly Bill number 54 of 2022 be now read a third time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to establish the Kenya Drugs Authority to provide for the regulation and management of drugs and chemical substances, to provide for the regulation of medical devices and other health technologies, to give effect to the principles and objects of devolved government in the drug safety regulation and for connected purposes. Order number 9, motion, second report on employment diversity audit in public institutions. Question to be put.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this House adopts the second report of the Select Committee on the National Cohesion and Equal Opportunity on the Employment Diversity Audit in the public institution laid on the table of this House on Thursday, 21st March 2023. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. And now, honorable members, like I had informed you, that with your permission, I had reordered the order paper. So before we go back to the tributes emanating from the statement by the Honorable Member for Bumula, Honorable Wamboka, I will put that on hold, and we shall go to the statement of the Leader of Majority, and then after that we shall revert back to Honorable Wamboka's statement. Leader of Majority, you may proceed. We understand you have other duties to go to.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for your indulgence, and allow me, Honorable Speaker, first to take this opportunity to convey my very heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and relatives of the late Honorable Murunga, who I was fortunate to have served with in this House in the 11th Parliament. And he was indeed a great man and a great member of this House. And not to mention a very good and polished business person who ran one of the most successful businesses along Kenyatta Avenue, in the Simas restaurant, where I would patronize when I was in my youthful years as a student of the University of Nairobi. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, also allow me to convey my condolences also to the family of the late Honorable Opore, the former member for Bonchari, who also passed on. With that, Honorable Speaker, thank you also for indulging me to read my statement and then go attend to other national duties outside of the House. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44.2a, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 5th November 2024, to prioritize business for consideration during the week. Honorable Speaker, I wish to officially welcome members back from the just concluded short recess, going by our calendar for regular sittings. I wish to commend the House leadership and members for their dedication and cooperation exhibited in this session so far. As we recollect and appreciate what has been achieved, I wish to point out that the mission of the 13th Parliament is not over yet. We still have a significant number of legislative proposals in the form of bills, statutory instruments, and committee reports that need our very keen attention. Unfortunately, Honorable Speaker, time and tide waits for no man. And therefore, to complete our mission before we head to the long recess, we need the collective efforts of each and every member and all our committees of this House before we proceed on the scheduled recess at the end of the first week of December. Honorable Speaker, with regards to business scheduled for Tuesday next week, the House is expected to continue with the following bills, some of which are listed in today's order paper. 1, Committee of the Whole House on the Statute Law Miscellaneous Amendments Bill, National Assembly Bill number 67 of 2023. 2, second reading of the following bills: the Kenya Roads Board Amendment Bill of 2024, the Land Control Bill of 2023, the Higher Education Loans Board Amendment Bill of 2022, the Public Finance Management Amendment Bill of 2022, the Political Parties Amendment Bill of 2022, the Equalization Fund Administration Bill, Senate Bill number 14 of 2023, the Universities Amendment Bill of 2023, the Cooperatives Bill of 2024, and the County Government Revenue Raising Process Bill of 2023. Additionally, Honorable Speaker, debate will also be undertaken on the following motions, should they not be concluded today: consideration of the mediated version of the National Rating Bill of 2022, 2, consideration of reports on financial statements of state corporations in Nyanza region, 3, report on the alleged unfair trade practices by foreign investors in Kenya, 4, third report on consideration of the audited accounts of specified state corporations, and 5, report of the extraordinary session of the 6th Pan-African Parliament, PAP. Honorable Speaker, in accordance with the provisions of Standing Order 42A, 5 and 6, I wish to convey that, as I mentioned yesterday, the Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport is scheduled to appear before the House on the afternoon of Wednesday, 13th November 2024, to respond to the following questions. Question by private notice number 13 of 2024 by the member for Gatanga, Honorable Wakili Mureu, regarding status of any negotiations for a concession agreement between the government and Adani Group regarding the management of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKIA. And I hope the honorable member for Gatanga will be in the House on Wednesday next week, since he's not here today, just as he was not here yesterday. 2 is questioned by private notice number 14 of 2024 by the member for Embakasi West, the Honorable Mark Mwenje, regarding provision of a comprehensive report on the amount disbursed to KERA for the financial year 2023-2024 as at September 2024 for Nairobi City County and the measures being taken to address the inordinate delay. The Honorable Mark Mwenja is here, is heard. Question number 167 of 2023 by the member for Baringo Central, Honorable Joshua Kandie MP, regarding criteria used and applied by the Kenya Roads Board to determine the amount of funds allocated to each constituency. Question number 168 by the member for Mwingi North, Honorable Paul Nzengu MP, regarding reasons why a section of the road between Kamuongo Market and Kuso Market is not tarmacked. Question 178 by the member for Kinango, Honorable Gonzi Rai, who is away on official business with the Speaker, regarding regarding the issuance of demolition notices against Makinon Road Trading Center buildings by Kenha. Question number 13 of 2024 by the member for Funyula, Dr. Ojiambo Oundo, MP, regarding the current status of Matayos Ganjala Nahasiko Nangina Road that was tendered under the 10,000 kilometer low volume seal roads procured during the commencement of the financial year 2017-2018. Question number 14 of 2024 by the member for Bahati, Honorable Irene Joki, regarding the status report on the progress and expected timelines for completion of the Lanet Airport project. Question number 69 of 2024 by the member for Westlands, the Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi, MP, regarding the status details of the approved design of Wayakiwe, including the road profiles, all road signages, road lighting, service lanes and pedestrian walkways and crossings, and clarify whether the ongoing construction works on the named road are being carried out in accordance with approved design. Question number 70 of 2024 by the member for Malava, Honorable Malulu Ijendi, regarding the progress report on construction of Class A1 Kakamega Kaburengu Road, whose construction commenced in October 2012. Question 73 of 2024 by the member for West Mugirango, Honorable Stephen Mogaka, MP, regarding the scope of works assigned to the contracted entity responsible for maintaining of Sironga Bonyunyu Road in West Mugirango constituency. Question number 78, 2024, by the member for Luanda, Honorable Dick Maungu, MP, regarding reasons for the delay by the contractor in upgrading Maseno Kombewo Road to bitumen standard, given the deplorable and impassable condition of the 5.1 kilometer stretch from Maseno to Opasi in Luanda constituency. Question 79 of 2024 by the member for Oyata, the Honorable Basil Robert, regarding reasons behind significant delay in the completion of construction of Matu Ekalakala Kiwandini Road to Kwasioni Road in Yata constituency. Question number 127 of 2024 by the member for Laikipia North, Honorable Sarah Korere, who is always in the house, and you can see she's there, Honorable Speaker, regarding reasons for delay in completion of the construction works on Doldol Nanyuki Road in Laikipia North constituency. Honorable Speaker, I can confirm in relation to what Honorable Sarah Korere said yesterday, we will make effort to notify members whenever a cabinet secretary is not going to appear before the House so that they are able to organize themselves, as the Honorable Sarah Korere requested yesterday. Question number 131 by the member of 2024 by the member for West Pokot County, the Honorable Rael Kasiwai MP, regarding the rationale behind the stalling of Barpelo Tot Marich Road project and the expected date of commencement of the stalled project. Question 132 of 2024 by the member for Kajiado South, Honorable Samuel Parashina, I hope he's in the house today, MP, regarding the details on the status of the construction of Ilasit Rombo Taveta Road. Honorable Speaker, I saw him protesting yesterday when I mentioned that he's never in the house. He's not in today again. I hope, and may it be noticed, that he be in the house next week on Wednesday, 13th, for the answer to that question. Question number 133 of 2024 by the member for Matuga, Honorable Kasim Tandaza, MP, regarding the update on the progress of construction of Kwale Kinango B92 Road, whose construction commenced on 4th August 2021 and was to be completed on 3rd August 2024. Question number 137, 2024, by the member for Igembe Central, the Honorable Daniel Karido Kili, MP, regarding the construction of Kangeta Mutine Kathelwa Dhuru Road that has stalled since 2016. Question number 138 of 2024 by the member for Mwingi West, Honorable Charles Ngusia, MP regarding the status of construction of the remaining 25-kilometer stretch section of the Kibwezi, Kitui, Kabati, Migwani, Mbondoni Road to bitumen standard, which has stalled. Question number 139 of 2024 by the member for Matayos, the Honorable Godfrey Odanga, MP, regarding the status of the Kisumu, Kisian, Busia, Kakira, Malaba, Busitema, Busia Expressway project. Question number 140 of 2024 by the member for Eklomani, the Honorable Bernard Shinali, MP, regarding the construction status of E9127, Mulundu, Shitoli, Malinya, Lusui Road. Question number 141 of 2024 by the member for Machakos, Honorable Joyce Kamene, MP, regarding the status on the approved designs of Mlolongo, Kware, Katani Road, and whether the design adhered to the principle of durability and sustainability of roads serving heavy trucks. Question number 142 of 2024 by the member for Semen, Honorable Nyikal, MP, regarding the reasons for the delay in the completion of construction works for upgrading to bitumen standard of Maseno, Kombewa, Wangarot, Kalandini Road, RWC 119, since its commencement in 2016. Question number 143 of 2024 by the member for Wundanyi, Honorable Danson Mwashakwa, MP, regarding the funding and delays in completion of the Mto Mwagodi, Mbale, Wundanyi, Weruga, Mukhange, Bura Road projects. Question number 144 of 2024 by the member for Kiambu, the Honorable Mashua Waithaka, MP, regarding measures put in place to ensure road safety on the Thika Superhighway. And finally, question number 145 by the member of Galole, the Honorable Said Buya Hiribae, MP, regarding timeline for completion of the Boji Masalani Road within Galole constituency. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee will reconvene on Tuesday, 12th November 2024 to schedule business for the rest of that week. I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
What's your point of order, Honorable Bowen?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Of course, the leader of majority cannot be out of order. So, Madam Speaker, if you had the message read by the leader of majority. Madam,
what is your point of order?
Yes, what I'm trying to say, Madam Speaker, out of 95% of those questions are touching on roads. Almost all the questions. So, and Madam Speaker,
that's a point of information?
Yes, yes, point of information. Yes. That tells you the number of stalled roads in this country. And if the CS even comes here, you will still come to tell us that there is no resources. What I just want to tell the Honorable Leader of Majority, Madam Speaker, because it's the link between this House and the Executive, that there is need to set aside some good money to complete many stalled roads across this country.
Honorable
because
Bowen,
even all of us...
Honorable Bowen, you finish your point of information. The people, the House that is mandated to set aside the money is this particular House. I think in terms of getting a status report on the roads, we already know that the Minister of Roads and Transport is scheduled to be here next week on Wednesday. So we shall have an opportunity to raise that with the Minister. So allow us to proceed to the next question. What's the point of order, Honorable Mwenje?
Honorable Speaker, I rise on Standing Order 38-2, and allow me to read it. The order paper shall be published on the parliamentary website and shall be made available to members at least 12 hours before the House meets. But a supplementary order paper shall be made available at least 1 hour before the House meets. Honorable Speaker, yesterday the majority leader mentioned that there were members who are not here to ask questions, but he was referring to an order paper that had already been supplanted by a supplementary order paper. In the event that the Cabinet Secretary does not show up, as per his statement, a supplementary order paper shall be issued. How then can he stand here and claim that members are not in the House, and yet the supplementary order paper had removed the fact that the Cabinet Secretaries were not in, was not coming to answer the questions? So it was completely out of order for the majority leader to read names in an order paper in which
Honorable,
It was not rightly
Honorable
before the
Mwenje.
House because there was a supplementary order paper. And Honorable Speaker, honestly, members can be behind there in the lounge. They could be seated in the members' lounge there.
Honorable Mwenje.
Honorable Speaker, I'm still on my point of order. Because you see when he says members
No,
are
you're
not in the House,
prosecuting
he's not
a
aware
matter that was prosecuted yesterday. Honorable members, it's not for you to say he's out of order. That is absolutely my prerogative. So just hold on. Honorable Mwenje, that issue was prosecuted yesterday. And because you were not present yesterday, which was exactly the point, you were not able to prosecute it. So you cannot not be in the House and then prosecute against the matter as an afterthought. Let's proceed, honorable members. Honorable members, allow me, before we continue with the statements, to recognize in the public gallery the following group: Nyandarua Youth Forum from Daragwa constituency, Nyandarua County. And also, honorable members, I will allow the next tribute. Yes. Okay.
Honorable Speaker, maybe just to set the record straight, because, Honorable Speaker, you know, as a leader, I would not want to be in a position where I embarrass any member. But I think what I was doing, Honorable Speaker, yesterday is to remind members what we agreed in the leadership conference where the Honorable Mwenje was attended, that we have an obligation, whether you have business on the floor or not, to be in the House. In fact, our own constitution and standing orders expect of us to transact business in this House in an open manner that is open and transparent to members of the public, because we are accountable to the people who elect us. And therefore, when we come to the House, we don't come because these cameras don't roam all over. They can't tell whether you're in the House or not. But it is expected of us that we are responsible leaders who will be in the House, whether your constituents are watching you or not. You must be in the House to transact, because we are all paid, Honorable Speaker. As much as we have no sitting allowances today, and we are no longer paid sitting allowances, but we earn a salary to be in the House, to legislate on behalf of our people, to represent them. So no member should take offense that I indicated the members who are scheduled to be in the House who are not in the House. And I wish there was a way we could even be making it known to the world which members are not in the House at a particular time. And with that, Honorable Speaker, since I had sought your permission to leave for other business, I will beg to leave now.
Honorable members, for orderliness, now that we already received the statement as the tribute for the late Suleiman Kasuti Murunga, I will also allow Honorable Member for Emuhaya, Honorable Omboko Milema, to give his tribute, and then members who are interested in giving tributes on both of the one of Honorable Murunga and the one of the Harambee Stars player Austin Oduor Origi, you can then give them interchangeably. So press the intervention button if you want to respond to that. Then we'll move to the other statements. So if you are not on these two particular ones, remove your name, your card from the intervention button. Thank you. Proceed, Member for Emuhaya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Before I begin, you will really have to deal with the issue of a leader of majority versus the members on mentioning their names, but that's another story. Honorable Speaker, allow me to do a general statement regarding the demise of legendary Austin Makamu Oduor Origi. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 43, I wish to make a statement regarding the passing on of Austin Makamu Oduor Origi on Thursday, 17th October 2024. Honorable Speaker, the late Austin Oduor, a legendary footballer, was born on 21st July 1959
Order,
in
honorable
Nairobi.
Members, it's respectful
To the late Johannes Origi Onyango and the late Mama Leonida Apondi Origi. Oduor's journey as a footballer began in the streets of Ziwani Estate in Nairobi, Eastlands, where he and his childhood friends, including Samuel Wino, who later became his teammate and captain at Kogalo FC, Chao and Devi shared an insatiable passion for football. They crafted makeshift football from cloth scraps tied together with strings, which they played on the streets and open fields of Ziwani Estate. Reflecting on these early days, his friend and teammate, Sami, at Highway Secondary School, and soon after joined Umeme FC in 1976, before signing for Gor Mahia in 1980. He was mentored by grassroots coaches like Pirate Landindo and Oti Father, who helped nurture his football talent from the young age. Coming from a family of distinguished footballers, both locally and internationally, Oduor was also the father of Arnold Origi, Kenya's long-time first-choice goalkeeper and the only Kenyan to play in Europe for over 15 years. Austin captained Kogalo to 3 consecutive Premier League titles in 1983, 1984, and 1985. His leadership at Gor Mahia peaked in 1987 when he, as vice captain, led the team in the historic victory in the Mandela Cup against Tunisian giants Esperance, which earned him the nickname Makamu, a nod to his role as the vice captain, often deputizing his legendary Sami Kempes Owino. One of Oduor's most celebrated moments in Harambee Stars came in the 4th All-African Games in 1987, Honorable Speaker, when he scored the decisive penalty against Malawi, securing Kenya's place in the finals. Oduor was also a core part of the Harambee Stars team that qualified for the African Cup of Nations for 3 consecutive times, an achievement yet to be matched. Another fond memory of Oduor's career was his outstanding man-marking of the Liberian legend George Weah. For those who remember, in 1995, the 1995 Ballon d'Or winner during a match in 1989. He stifled all goal-scoring opportunities for the legend George Weah and earned Kenya a 1-0 victory against Liberia. Honorable Speaker, Oduor was also the brother of Michael Kothorigi. He's the first Kenyan to play for top-tier European team and a star for Harambee Stars in the 1990s and 2000 years. His brother Anthony Origi and Jared Origi also made their marks in domestic football. Furthermore, he was an uncle of the ex-Liverpool former forward Divock Origi, who now plays with AC Milan in Italy. He also served as the chairman of the Gor Mahia Legends Welfare Association, an organization he helped to establish alongside fellow legends like Tobias Ochola and famously known as Jua Kali. The late Oduor also created Kogalo Alumni Group, a platform for retired players to connect and support one another. Honorable Speaker, as Austin Oduor is laid to rest on Saturday, 9th November 2024, at his rural home in Makunga, Kakamega County, he can be celebrated as a man of hat-trick achievements. These include leading Kogalo, that's Gor Mahia, to 3 consecutive domestic Premier League titles in 1983, 1984, and 1985. 2, helping Harambee Stars to qualify for the African Cup of Nations 3 times. And on a lighter note, being part of the football dynasty of accomplished footballing brothers, including Michael Kothorigi, Anthony Origi, and Jared Origi, along with the successive generation of his son, Arnold Origi, and nephew, Divock Origi. Honorable Speaker, I take this early opportunity to condole with the family and friends of the late Austin Oduor, the football fraternity, and the people of Kenya at large for the loss of an extraordinary sportsman, a father, leader, elder, and football legend. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also take this opportunity on behalf of Bunge FC, which is captained by the Honorable Amolo Otiende to pass our condolences to the family of the late Oduor. Honorable Speaker, allow me to say one thing, that many of these legends have been forgotten, but Oduor is specifically remembered for three things which I'll briefly say. Number one, when Josephat Murila stopped being the number 5 for Kenya, it looked like we would not have another number 5 to the status of Josephat Murila. But Austin Oduor stepped in very well. Number two, Honorable Speaker, because I'm an ex-international also. During the All-African Games of 1987, when we played Malawi and at one time the lights went off, which later was said that Kenya had put off the lights because Malawi was beating us, Oduor came up in the next match to score the penalty that made Kenya to go to the finals. And finally, let me thank His Excellency the President, because he has started recognizing these legend players. 2 years ago, I saw him recognized with the head of state commendation to Alan Thigo, another veteran who played earlier than Oduor. And I think this should go on because we have an array of them on the streets living in poverty, not all, but including Josephat Murila, Mulamba, Abbas, George Onyango Fundi, and others. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Endebess, Honorable Robert Pukose. And members, you can give tribute to either of the two.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join the Honorable Omboka Milemba and the Honorable Amboko, member for Pumula. Kwamboka, I've said that. You know my pronunciation. Kwamboka. To join him to pass my condolence to the family of the late Suleiman Murunga. Honorable Speaker, I served with the Honorable Suleiman Murunga in the 11th Parliament. He was a gentleman. We used to go together to his place, Simas, for lunch, and he was providing very nice meals at Simas, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Murunga was a good man. He's a very humble, a guy who was committed, and a very polished businessman. Honorable Speaker, I was shocked to hear that he passed away during a very short illness. Whenever Honorable Murunga came to Parliament or you meet him around Cooperative Bank, he will always say hi and we will always chat together. This is a very sad moment for the family, the relatives, and the people of Kimilili. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Member, Member for Kwanza, Honorable Ferdinand Wanyonyi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me the chance also to pass my heartfelt condolence on behalf of myself, my family, and the people of Kwanza to the family of the late Suleiman Murunga, about the one that I personally worked with. We were in Parliament here, as just mentioned by Dr. Bokose. We were here in the 11th term Parliament. We were with him here, and he was a very, very straightforward man. He is somebody that, if anything else, he was a hard-working person. As just mentioned, Madam Speaker, Suleiman Murunga was a very successful businessman in Nairobi, and most of us who are still young actually got quite a number of good lessons from him. He was actually running a famous restaurant opposite 680 Hotel, and much more. Of course, he was a very outgoing person, and I remember he came to my constituency in Kwanza and even helped me do some fundraising for my constituency. Honorable Murunga is somebody who has worked very hard in his constituency, and of course, safe to say The current member of parliament is Mheshimiwa Ditmas, who is not here, but he, I think, will be coming very soon. And they actually picked up from where Mr. Murunga left. And therefore, I want also to mention that Murunga was actually, as mentioned by Mheshimiwa Wamboka, he actually was the director of election in Fort Kenya, where I am the deputy director of Fort Kenya, and he was actually our director of elections, and actually he did very well. During his time, we had so many members of parliament in this house. Therefore, on my behalf, on behalf of my constituency and my family, I pass my heartfelt condolence. And we are having a fundraising on 14th of this month. Those of you will be able to help us, I think, to be able to escort the body to Kimilili. Please, members of parliament, you are most welcome. I think we'll give you the paybill number so they can be able to assist us to be able to support.
The Honorable Member from Diwa, Honorable Martin Olo. And honorable members, let us keep this to 2 minutes so that other members get an opportunity.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's very sad to lose people at this rate. And I want to condole with the family of Murunga as well as the family of Austin Oduor. Just want to say a few things about Austin. Madam Speaker, this is the most finest team captain we ever had in Kenya. And there are some few things that he displayed even on the field that we should take as a lesson and do everywhere we can. Was skillful, that's true. Was disciplined, honest, humble, and also a composed skipper. And I want to thank Honorable Mboko. You have really eulogized our brother in all the talents he displayed when he was on the pitch. Not that, he was also a mentor. He mentored so many people, and out of those mentorship, his own child came out, Arnold Origi, a former Harambee Star goalkeeper, as well as Divock Origi, a former Liverpool and now AC Milan, as well as Michael Koth, who is also his brother. So he was also a mentor in the pitch. I pray that we may do more to footballers and any athletic, those who are in the athletic field as well, because it's one thing to eulogize them, but it's another thing to recognize them when they're still living and support them in that system. So with those few remarks, I really want to condole Austin, because during his time is when we got the Mandela Cup in 1987, and it was very sweet. May God give courage and also comfort to the families. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Member for Bungoma, Honorable Catherine Wabilianga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also join the rest of the members in condoling our fallen hero, the former member of Kimilili, Member of Parliament for Kimilili, the Honorable Suleiman Murunga, who hails from my county, and more so, a very, very polished politician who stood by his people. And Murunga was known as a very, very polished business person as well. But most importantly, we remember Murunga because as a politician, he was a Muslim, fine. But during the funerals and all church services, you would not differentiate whether Murunga was a politician, was a Muslim, or Murunga was a Muslim. That put him on a level basis where he was a level politician who actually served the people of Kimilili with diligence. We also remember him because he set up a number of schools and left a legacy in education. And we also want to thank the current Member of Parliament who has succeeded Murunga very well, the Honorable Didmas. And lastly, as I sit down, I want to condole Murunga as a polished business person whom we all admired. And it made most of these politicians in this house also think about the kind of business. As a politician, you can also do a side hustle as a business person. Polished as he was, we aped from him. We condole him, and I also condole the late Austin Oduor, who was a footballer. I want to tell my brother Mboko Milemba, who is also a polished footballer, that you have lost a friend. You have kept telling us that Oduor was your friend, and indeed we mourn together with you. I lastly want to welcome anybody all of us who will be coming to mourn Murunga in Bungoma. You're most welcome, and I'll be there.
The Honorable Dr. Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to join colleagues in condoling the family of Honorable Mulunga. I'm sure, Honorable Speaker, you remember me and you, we served in the 11th Parliament with him. And Honorable Mulunga was actually a gentleman par excellence. He's a very cool member of Parliament, very focused. And on my behalf of my family, and the good people of Kitui Central, we want to send our sincere condolences to the people of Kimilili for losing this gentleman called Honorable Mulunga. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Amen.
The Honorable Irene Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also stand to give my sincere condolences to the late Honorable Suleiman Murunga and his family and the people of Bungoma County for losing an astute politician. And Honorable Speaker, we do pray for his soul to rest in eternal peace. Honorable Speaker, I also take this opportunity to pass on my sincere condolences to the late Austin Origi, aka Makamu. And Honorable Speaker, what the Honorable Member did not also tell the House is that the reason why he was called Makamu is because the late Austin was in what we call the class of 1980 of Gor Mahia FC. And he used to be a super sub. He used to be a Makamu, a deputy. So anytime he was called off from the bench, he would perform exceedingly well. But other than that, Honorable Speaker, the late Austin comes from a family of prestige in terms of the soccer world in this country. His elder brother, his elder brother Mike Okoth, who played for Harambee Stars, was also the most famous goalkeeper of Shabana FC. And besides that, they have their children, Arnold Origi and Divo Origi, who have really given great contributions in this country. So, Honorable Speaker, on behalf of those of us who are soccer fanatics in this country, we give our most sincere condolences to this family, and I urge the honorable members to always continue to support our sports people and our soccer players in this country and give them their best. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Irene Mayaka. The Honorable Beatrice Elachi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me also to send my condolences to the family of Suleiman Murunga. When I was a senator in 2013-2017, that is when he served Kimilili constituency. But one thing I remember when I was Speaker of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, is when Murunga lost Simas. That was the most famous club opposite 680, and where you would go and listen to Lingala music. And I think one of the things, even as we send him off, we just need to pray to God that his property will go back to his family, because what they did was very, very unfortunate. And therefore, as much as we are condoling, it is important for us to also remember, as Nairobians, it is not easy any person to come from the Western region and run a club in the middle of town. So we want to really celebrate him and thank God for the days and the years he gave Suleiman Murunga, and may he rest in peace. We also, as Nairobians, are now also celebrating the life of our only one, who was the real Gor Mahia. Those are the real Gor Mahia now players, the ones who brought in Gor Mahia in the 80s when we were very young. Austin Oduor, as indeed Elias Makamu. But one thing, Umeme FC is what brought in Austin. And many of the young people, why we have the ghetto sports that you see today, it is because of what Austin and others have done. So I'm hoping the government is not just giving him the best in his burial, but will also put in something in Ziwani for the young people there just to continue with the football. I think football is what people understand in Nairobi and especially in all the ghettos. And so to the family of Austin.
Why are you cutting yourself short before you are cut off? You are done, eh? Give her 1 minute.
Thank you. I was just saying to the family, we want to pray that God will give you strength and give you indeed the energy to celebrate him as one of our heroes in the football arena. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable John Kawanjiku.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity together with the people of Kiambaa to actually condole with the people of Bungoma for the family of Murunga and Austin Origi, for the loss of those two patriots who have been, patriotic as far as this country is concerned. They have been members of the National Assembly, and also they have really contributed immensely to the issues affecting our country, Mr. Speaker. And may I take this opportunity also to say that we call upon the Public Service Commission, Mr. Speaker, because of the former members and their contributions to this National Assembly, the contribution to this country. There is a time when I sit in the Budget Committee, they had requested for the health cover of the former members, Mr. Speaker. The moment you come out of this National Assembly, you cannot be employed anymore, and no one else will ever take care of your needs and your health issues, Mr. Speaker. And I remember we would want to ask the Parliamentary Service Commission to reconsider a seed capital in the coming budget, Mr. Speaker, whereby it was supposed to take care of the former members of the National Assembly health cover, insurance health cover. And I would request the House, when the budget will be presented, maybe supplementally or the main budget as a House, we consider the former members of the National Assembly for their contribution to this country and even for the seed capitals that they had requested to be taking care of their health issues, Mr. Speaker. And with that, because those members have seriously contributed heavily as far as building this nation is concerned, and therefore they were asking for about 1 billion shillings for the insurance health cover, Mr. Speaker. It is nothing much to us. And therefore, in that spirit, I request the House, when that time comes, we consider that part of making sure that the former members, they have a health insurance cover. I pay my condolences.
The Honorable Joshua Kimilu, MP for Kaiti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to give my condolences to the family. Mr. Speaker, I want to take the opportunity for me, on behalf of me and my family, to give my condolences to the family of the late Honorable and also the people of Kimilili. Me personally, I didn't know the Member of Parliament one-on-one, and Mr. Speaker, because he's a colleague of one of our colleagues, Mr. Speaker, we want to tell the family to bear the loss, and also that our prayers and our condolences will heal them, because, Mr. Speaker, we know that according to what I was trying to read the history of the honorable member, Mr. Speaker, he was loved by his constituency, and he was man of his own words, and as I can quote, alikuwa mchapakazi. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to tell the family, Pole, and the constituency, and we are together in prayers on these difficult times. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Vice Chair, the Departmental Committee, Internal Administration and Internal Affairs, the Honorable Dido Rasu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to eulogize two great Kenyans. Suleiman Murunga, we served together in the 11th Parliament. Somebody who brought simplicity and finance leadership. And wherever you saw him around, I always thought Murunga was an MP in Nairobi because he would, most of the time, he will walk on foot. And the other thing which I came across, he was an easy person to get along with. Until sometimes I used to ask him, are you in government or opposition? Because across the divide, he never had that separation. Honorable Speaker, Austin Oduor, those days when we had the KBC as the only radio and KBC as the only TV, you will hear Austin Nampira. Those gentlemen, during their time, they did it for country and play. They never did it for anything. They were among the poorest, if you looked around. They came from less endowed families. But the greatness is they put Kenya on the map. Football was football when those guys were playing their heart out, and everybody enjoyed it. Let alone this time when there is a lot of money, and people actually are not fighting over players, they are fighting over money.
I'll invoke my powers under standing order number 1. I know ruling was given to give Honorable Dido Raso an additional 1 minute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I really want to say this. I thank Honorable Omboko Mlemba and Kwamboka for actually bringing these two eulogies or messages of condolences to the House. We may not give much, but sounding it from the floor of the House, from the National Assembly, it sends a message to this country that if you contributed something, there are those who know about it. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. May their souls rest in eternal peace.
The Honorable Japhet Nyakundi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to convey my sincere condolence, my sincere heartfelt condolences on behalf of the people of Kitutu Chache North to Honorable Suleiman Murunga, who was a former member of parliament for Kimilili. I knew Mr. Murunga through his son, Brian. Mr. Murunga was an astute businessman in Nairobi who had a serious club in between the green city of Nairobi. So I want to convey my sincere condolences on behalf of my people and wish the family a befitting send-off as they send him to rest. Secondly, I also want to convey my sincere condolences to Austin Origi, the Gor Mahia footballer. On behalf of the people of Kitutu Chache North, I never knew him, but he was a footballer. He's one of those people who made sure that our country in terms of football is in the map. So I want to convey my sincere condolences on behalf of my people. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
The Chair of the Departmental Committee on Education, the Honorable Julius Meli.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I stand on behalf of the people of Tindred to convey my sincere condolences to the late Honorable Suleiman Murunga, whom we served together in the 11th Parliament. As indicated by my colleagues, Honorable Murunga was a man of, was a humble leader, an astute politician, and more importantly, a businessman par excellence, in the sense that on issues that he had in this city, Mr. Speaker, he actually did his work well. I want to convey my condolences to the family, the people of Kimilili, and to this current sitting member of parliament, because he has lost his constituent and a former member of parliament. On Austin Oduor, Mr. Speaker, I want to say this. Austin and the ills of this time played with a lot of passion, a lot of commitment, with a lot of patriotism that the current generation need to emulate a lot. That even the football fraternity in this country, if they had picked from the time of Austin, this country would be at the level of the international community. We want to laud them, and we want to pass the condolences to the family, the relatives, and to the football fraternity of this country for the loss of Austin Oduor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And lastly, the Honorable Onyango Koyo, MP for Moroni.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I want to seize this opportunity to pass my reserved condolences on behalf of myself and the people of Moroni for the sad loss of my colleague, former Member of Parliament for Kimilili, Honorable Suleiman Murunga. I knew Suleiman Murunga as a banker, then later on as a businessman in Nairobi, and he did us very proud because for a long time it was mistaken that only members of one community were the good businessmen who could run their business successfully in Nairobi. But Murunga came and corrected this ill and started his business and pushed it very far that he had a lot of success in his businesses, and he went a long way to employ people from up country and within and without Kenya. I want to pass my condolences. This will be a second stage because I was present when we were holding a rampe for the departed soul of Austin Oduor of Gor Mahia. I said that I cut my political teeth from Gor Mahia because as they were playing, we were the young outfit that were guarding the players. And I knew Austin very closely, very, very closely, as a very dedicated player. He had a lot of self-discipline. And the man who gave his all to his country, his team and his country. I was closely associated with the team that won, the Gor Mahia team that won the Mandela Cup in 1987, and Austin Oduor was the captain. He captained Gor Mahia to success, and he was there for a very long time. It was a very trying moment for him because, you know, the Luos believed if he wanted to be in serious, was aspiring for serious leadership in this country, more so in Lowland or the towns, you had to have something to do with Gor Mahia.
So, honorable members, on behalf of the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Right Honorable Moses Masika Wetangula, together with the tributes already registered by the members who have spoken, we condole the families of these two Kenyan patriots. The Honorable the Honorable Suleiman Kasuti Murunga and Mr. Austin Oduor Origi, the patriots who contributed in their great ways in serving this country. May God strengthen the families, may God comfort the families. And in their last honor, honorable members, I wanted to request all of us to be upstanding for 1 minute silence. May God rest their souls in eternal peace. So the statement by the Honorable Member for Aldai next, the Honorable Marianne Kitany MP.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the rise of insecurity in Aldai constituency. Honorable Speaker, Article 29 of the Constitution provides that every person has a right to freedom and security. Sadly, there has been a recent rise of insecurity in Aldai constituency caused by a recent change in security personnel at the sub-county level. The shift has led to the incidences of unexplained cases of cattle rustling and murder. For instance, Mr. Elkanah Kiplagat Mugun of ID number 0447870 was murdered on Thursday, the 31st October 2024, while returning home from work. On 13th of October 2024, Ms. Felista Chelimo of ID number 323-21228 from Chebonge village in Mgwen constituency was also murdered at Kundos Bridge in Koyondurio ward in Aldai constituency. Additionally, there have been rising cases of cattle theft or cattle rustling, with a recent case of about 30 herds of cattle, which was stolen from 4 different homes. These incidences have left the families in the state of fear and agony. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. 1, a report on the status of investigation into the incidences of insecurity, including the deaths of Mr. Elkanah Kiplagat Mugun and Ms. Felista Chelimo. 2 is the actions being taken to ensure the perpetrators of crimes are arrested and prosecuted without delay. And 3, the measures being put in place to curb insecurity and cattle rustling in the constituency. And finally, a report on the recent changes in security personnel at the sub-county level and whether the insecurity incidences being experienced currently could be linked to the changes. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Chair, Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Affairs, the Honorable Dido Raso.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this morning we had an extensive discussion with the Inspector General and the commanders of the National Police Service. And the major reason of our discussion, to the extent that we went into camera, was to address the issues of rising insecurity that we believe is being perpetrated by criminal syndicates. Honorable Speaker, I have heard the MP for Aldai, what she has raised, and I request you give us 2 weeks and we'll be able to provide a comprehensive answer to our statement. Meanwhile, I must add that the police are generally doing a good job, but we have also seen within the police an element of rogue elements. Either they are not doing their job or they are acting outside the law. But that is a discussion for another time. But considering her statement is important, we must address it as a committee, and we request for 2 weeks. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Marianne Keitany.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker. 2 weeks is adequate. I know one of the persons murdered belongs to Mgwen constituency, so maybe he may want to also say something.
Yeah, the Honorable Jose Lelmungiri have just told me that this is a lady from his constituency, murdered in your constituency. And I was just telling him that in terms of procedure, it would be better we wait for the statement coming from the relevant agency to come so that we can engage deeply. And I hope you agree, because for now it is just for you to confirm that 2 weeks would be good for you to get that report from the police. And I can confirm to you that I also sit in that committee. So what the vice chair of the committee has said about the investigations which were going on this morning, I can confirm I sat through.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, 2 weeks would be good because tomorrow I'm attending the funeral for one of them, and it would be nice for the public to know that action is being taken. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
MP for Mgwen, what is burning so much?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. I just wanted to contribute on this issue that Honorable Marianne raised concerning Felista Jebet, who was murdered. Honorable Speaker, the lady was an innocent lady. She comes from a very humble background. I don't know even how the family is coping up to date. So I was requesting also, as we wait for two weeks, we need a detailed report on what the government, through the Ministry of Security, is doing. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The statement will be given in 2 weeks through the chair of the departmental committee concerned. The Honorable Irene Mayaka, MP.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to give a general statement regarding recognition of Honorable Huldah Momanyi Hitsley. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 25-2B, I rise with great pride to notify the House of the incredible achievement of the Honorable Huldah Momanyi Hitsley on her historic victory of being elected as a member of the Minnesota House of Representatives, USA, in the recent elections. Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Hitsley's success is a shining example of courage and determination, and it brings immense pride not only to her community, but to the entire nation of Kenya on the unlimited potential of our people to achieve greatness beyond our borders. Her achievements resonate far beyond Minnesota. It is a profound inspiration to women leaders across Africa and Kenya, especially those who aspire to make an impact in public service. Her journey from Nyemiso Village, Magombo Ward, Nyamira County in Kenya, to a prominent legislative position in the United States of America demonstrates that with ambition, resilience, and hard work, there are no limits to what one can achieve. Honorable Speaker, her victory signals an important step forward for gender inclusion in politics, showing that the barriers of women's leaderships can and must be broken. The Honorable Hitsley stands as a role model for young women and girls everywhere who dream of creative, positive change within their community and beyond. Honorable Speaker, I therefore wholeheartedly congratulate the Honorable Momanyi Hitsley on a well-deserved success, and I'm doing this on my own behalf and on behalf of the MP for Kitutu Masaba, Clive Gisairo, and the entire Omogusi Nation, and wish her every success in the Minnesota House of Representatives. May her leadership continue to inspire future generations of African women and girls to pursue their goals with confidence and purpose. And Honorable Speaker, today when I was speaking to the Honorable Lady, she did express a message of cooperation to each and every Kenyan leader within these borders and beyond, and she promises to work with each one of us and invites all of you to Minnesota. Honorable Speaker, I thank you, and I wish to ask for your indulgence to allow some of the members to also express their appreciations, because you can see the kind of joy that is here, that Minnesota is also part of us. I thank you.
I will allow a few of us to record their recognitions and appreciation, not congratulations, for this great achievement by a Kenyan, a born Kenyan in the United States of America. No, she's Kenyan. She's Kenyan. The minority whip, the Honorable Millie Odhiambo Mabona.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, if you're talking today, unless you're speaking with an American accent, you're not going to be allowed to speak here. And Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that on behalf of the people of Subanoth and the Kenyans at large, I just want to congratulate Honorable Huldah for this win. Mr. Speaker, she is a Kenyan immigrant who has gone to the United States of America. And Mr. Speaker, unless you're able to speak the way I'm speaking today, you have no business going to the United States of America. Mr. Speaker, on a more serious note, Mr. Speaker, on a more serious note, I want to say that I'm very happy.
Honorable Millie Mabona, the standing order provisions are clear.
Yes.
You start in a language, you continue in that language to the end. So can you continue?
Mr. Speaker, I can actually finish in this language because as a graduate of New York University, Mr. Speaker, and I can actually tell you that one talent that the Lord God has given me is that I pick accents wherever I go. So if I go into Kisii, I will speak Kisii accent. And if I go into the United States of America, I will speak American accent. And Mr. Speaker, I can tell you just before I came here, I was listening to Huldah, and I think that's what has actually influenced the way I'm speaking right now. But Mr. Speaker, now let me go back as a member of Suba North. And as a member of Suba North, Mr. Speaker, I just want to say that Huldah is the first Kenyan born to be actually elected in the United States of America. And Mr. Speaker, we know that Obama was elected, and his father is from Kogelo. But actually, Obama was not born in Kenya. Even though that was an issue in America, they were trying to say that he was born in Kenya. But his father was born in Kenya. But Huldah is Kenyan-born who has been elected. As a woman in Kenya, I am extremely proud. And especially for those of us who are rooting especially for Honorable Kamala, even though I know you are a Trump guy, but we were rooting for Kamala Harris, and because she didn't win, at least this is something that gives us a little bit of consolation. And even though we know that America is still a little behind in terms of democratization, in Kenya we are setting the pace. And we are telling America's followers soon, because even in terms of representation of women, we are ahead. America may have been ahead in democracy, but Africa is fast overtaking America, and we are going to tell them how things are done. And while they are still playing, we will have the first Kenyan to be born. Mr. Speaker, I know my time is up, but I just want to say that you saw that they also play Kanungo, because they realized that all Kenyans were behind her. She's a Kisii, and we celebrate that the Kisii produced somebody excellent. But you know the Kisii, Abagusi, Abasuba, Abamili, we are all there, Mr. Speaker, and we are happy.
Our minority whip is so learned and so widely gifted. The Honorable Silvanus Osoro, our majority whip.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I may not be lucky. My Kisii accent won't allow me to speak like Honorable Millie, but I want to join my colleagues, Honorable Millie and Honorable Rene Mayaka, in congratulating the good lady, Honorable Momanyi, for winning her seat. Honorable Speaker, I have had 2 encounters with the Honorable Momanyi in the United States of America. The first encounter was when I went to the US in Texas on or about 2023, when we started upon the transition, I think we were with the Honorable Bai at that time. And the Gusii community that lives in the US requested to have a meeting with me. And Honorable Momanyi came, and it was actually in Texas, all the way from Minnesota. And then she came, though they say Minnesota, but she came all the way from Minnesota to Texas, where we had a meeting, and she actually acted as an MC. At that point, nobody would notice that she would become anything, Honorable Speaker. Fast forward, in the recent visit by His Excellency the President to Washington, D.C., I was privileged to accompany His Excellency the President, and while in the White House, that tall, slender lady, very beautiful, approached me again and told me, "You remember me?" I told her I couldn't. I can't remember you. Then she told me, "If you don't mind, we perhaps could have some, omogusi delicacy today at the Swahili restaurant in Washington, D.C." She treated us alongside Honorable Pio Aldai, who was then the minority leader, for dinner, and now CS, Honorable Speaker, over dinner. And it's at that point, Honorable Speaker, that she told us that she's going for that seat. In fact, if Honorable Pio was to be here today, he would have told you that nobody saw it coming, because the way she expressed her interest, and with simplicity, you wouldn't imagine that at the end of the day, she will garner 65% to become victorious in that particular place. Honorable Speaker, that shows that no person is limited. We all have something that you can achieve. We all have some self-drive that really drives us towards achieving something. But what stood out yesterday, Honorable Speaker, when she was being interviewed by one of the local media houses, Honorable Speaker, is that she's not lost her identity, that she still speaks in Swahili and she still speaks in Ekegusi. That in itself, Honorable Speaker, is quite, appealing. When we have people who go to study in India, Honorable Speaker, when they come back, it's funny. When people go to the US, they come back with American accent. But when people go to India, they refuse to own the Indian accent of speaking in English. It is usually very funny. But even then, even with that very heavy accent, Honorable Speaker, she still speaks very well in Ekegusi language, owning that identity. That is something very commendable, Honorable Speaker, and that shows, Honorable Speaker, that we need to appreciate our cultures, we need to own up to where we've come and our history and our ties. And what I'll tell Honorable Speaker is that the sky is the limit. I see the first female president of the United States of America in Honorable Huldah Momanyi. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
The Honorable Donya Doris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For clarity, yes, I'm a Kenyan, but it is good to be proud of your language. Huldah Momanyi is Kisi, yes. Born in Nyamira, yes. Omogusi. Yes. If you hear of Huldah, the name Heslel, that is for the husband, but Momanyi is Kisi. Then she reminds us of the likes of Maraga, former Chief Justice, Senior Chief, the late Simeon Nyachai. Those are Kisses. We are just proud. Kenyans, nothing is out of order when you recognize your people, Mr. Speaker. It is not wrong. We are proud to say we are Kenyans. The only thing, as I stand to appraise Huldah, is just to say, despite having these beautiful leaders, having good schools in Kisii, like Nyambaria High, which was leading in the last KCSE, let me just say, we lack water, we lack electricity, so that when Huldah will be coming, maybe she might have a donation for us, for our people, to have boreholes. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, it is good when you get this opportunity. Fix something small for your people. So we are very happy. We danced the whole night. And in fact, now I'm urging Kisii women to have more babies and name them Huldah. So honorable male members, Honorable Soro, you work hard so that your mother in the house can produce Huldah. More girls, we need more children, courtesy of Huldah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Members, we will allow the compliments to be recorded in not more than 2 minutes. Except for the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro, who will speak next for 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also rise to congratulate our very eloquent and intelligent lady in the US. And Honorable Speaker, this goes to show that the human capital in Kenya is actually the best in the world. When you travel even outside of Kenya, in any region of the world, you are likely to get the best professionals, being the people of Kenya. And not just in politics, Honorable Speaker. If you go, for example, across Africa, everywhere we have had resets of economies, even Rwanda. Currently, if you go to Ethiopia, they are setting up their financial market. You find that it is the Kenyan people who are doing that. But, Honorable Speaker, even on that, I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate the President-elect, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. The reason why, Honorable Speaker, if you go through history, Republicans are always better in terms of policies in regards to Kenya, in regards to Africa, and the entire global South. Because, Honorable Speaker, what the global South economies we need, like Kenya, is not tokenism. What we want is a driving economy of the world. And that only happens, Honorable Speaker, when the US is responding. And I want to be empirical. The previous administration, Honorable Speaker, they have had to raise the Fed rate, the interest rates in the Federal Reserve, for 11 times consecutively, from barely 0% to 0.05% to 5.25%, Honorable Speaker. This may sound like jargons, but the ramifications are here in this parliament. When we are allocating money, and we find we are allocating a lot of money for debt, some of this money we allocate for debt service, Honorable Speaker, is based on the interest rate. And the interest rate in the Fed also percolates to our own capital markets. It is usually said, Honorable Speaker, that when the economy of the world sneezes or coughs, the other economies catch cold. And I want to believe that going forward, the United States will be more responsible in exercise of their power, and especially given the fact that their currency is the global reserve. And Honorable Speaker, the same reason we saw yesterday, after the win, we saw the markets across the world responding. We saw Dow Jones, we saw all the global markets responding positively, because every person in the world knows that Republicans are better for the economy of the world, are better for the global south, and we look for very good.
Why did you disconnect Honorable Ndindi Nyoro when talking about Trump?
Honorable Speaker, as I wind up, I was just trying to say, history, we say that the laboratory of economics is history. And the only place to see how things work is to look at how they have worked before. If you compare democratic regimes in terms of the Democrats and the Republican regimes, you find that when there are Republicans in power in the US, the economies of the global south perform better. And the more the reason, because this is known, that we see, Honorable Speaker, after the win by the Republicans, we saw a response, a positive response in the markets in the US and across the world. But there is only one pitfall, Honorable Speaker, as I finish. Again, when there is sentiment of a strengthening economy in the US, we'll have a tendency of dollar becoming stronger. Unfortunately, when the dollar becomes stronger, means it is in respect to other currencies. But I want to report to this House, even looking at the tendency of our Kenya shillings against the greenback from yesterday, it shows the Kenyan fundamentals have been grounded, and the more the reason we have seen, even when the dollar is strengthening, our shilling is also strengthening. And lastly, we also hope the United States will also not bring about a lot of economic wars, and especially with China. We do not expect to see the kind of tariff wars because they also affect our economies. So we expect that going forward, we'll see sunshine where the same US economy have poured cold water in the economies. We foresee, Honorable Speaker, that going forward, we will have warmth in the economies like Kenya, and we'll see progress across all the economies of the world. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chair, Budget Appropriations Committee. The Honorable Jerusha Mumanyi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, Honorable Speaker, so that I can also celebrate this brilliant girl who is called Huldah Nyamitsa. It's another name because I know she comes from my village. She's called Nyamitsa Momanyi. And you also know that I am Momanyi, Jerusha. That means we share that name from the same parents. I want to congratulate this girl because she acknowledged that we are not even able to explain. We are so happy. The people of Nyamira are so happy. The people of Kenya are so...
And it really is not a preserve of the Honorable Jerusha Momanyi. They are not related. They just come from the same area. Thank you very much.
Honorable Soro, for the avoidance of doubt, in Africa we don't have cousins.
Yeah, we
don't. We are brothers and sisters. So continue, Honorable Jerusha Momanyi.
Sure, Honorable Speaker, thank you for informing your Soro. Soro should know that whoever is called your name and who comes from your village, that's your sister or your brother. I'm so grateful that Huldah
give Honorable Jerusha Momanyi 1 minute to conclude. This is her sister. She's talking about.
We are so happy. That is why Osoro is also excited, like I am excited. I want to urge every Kenyan who is living anywhere in this world to come up and ask for elective posts, because we have been proven as Kenyans and as Nyamirans that we are so happy and we know how to do the work. Wherever we have been given the job, we do. It is because of the hard work of Huldah, because of high resilience and the love that she had for his people. That's why she has been elected. We wish her the best. We wish her success as she moves along, and we know from her we have the future president. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Anthony Kibagendi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to also get to congratulate my sister, Huldah Momanyi. Huldah Momanyi is an excellent community leader who understands that leadership is not about taking advantage of people, but making a difference right where you are, right where you're planted. She is the immediate former chair lady of the Mwanyagetinge community group in Minnesota, in Brooklyn Park. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when I visited Minnesota some time back, Honorable Speaker, I got a chance to be introduced to this wonderful lady by a gentleman called Sami Reri. And it is in that time that this lady was again preparing to run for a seat around Brooklyn Park, where she wasn't successful. And because of her resilience and her determination, she has gotten an opportunity to be elected. And I believe this wonderful lady, who has consistently shifted from seeking societal legitimacy or validation to constructing what I can call a meaningful legacy through bringing together the Kenyan communities living in Minnesota and the African communities. We have a lot of Liberians, we have a lot of people from Somali, and the Kenyan community there that she has put together to fight for their rights. So we appreciate her, and we hope this wonderful lady will go on to become an even bigger star and rise even.
The Honorable Beatrice Elachi.
Allow me also to ride on and to appreciate Honorable Mayaka for just allowing us to celebrate a Kenyan lady, Huldah, Mr. Speaker, who has also broken a record that she vied on a party of Democratic Farmer Labor Party. I just want to tell her, you went the Kenyan way, which is an affiliate of the Democrats Party, Mr. Speaker. But to really say that this is one lady who also was against a Liberian woman, it shows the resilience of the immigrants and that they are committed to build America and make America great. And I am hoping President Trump will be able to appreciate Africa, that he will look in his eyes and realize we are people who love people the way the Republicans do. And so for me, as she goes into the Congress with her values of equitable in housing, access to health, that we shall see a good policy on reproductive health from the Republicans, and that they will remember the embassy that we have now, where many Kenyans have gone and suffered at the embassy. And we need to have a policy, Speaker, that says if indeed I'm not going to get my visa, then they can charge us consultancy. And I'm hoping the Republicans will do that and refund people money the way we have lost money at the embassy of the US. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Jabat Nyakundi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to take this opportunity to ride on Honorable Mayaka in congratulating Huldah Momanyi in being elected in the House of Representatives in Minnesota, to be specific, Minneapolis. Everything is fine. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate him, and to congratulate him more sincerely, because this clearly shows that women have space in leadership. And this clearly shows that the Kenyan labor market is workable outside this country. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate her and tell the women of this country that you have a space in leadership wherever you are. Come out as women leaders, come out as women in society to ask for leadership positions, because I believe that women are the best leaders outside here. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity.
The Honorable Catherine Omanyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am here just to celebrate, because when you look at her photo, she looks like me. Yes, and she is so daring, being a black woman, being black and being a woman, and an immigrant, making it in the United States. I hope when Trump says he is going to deport people, he is not going to deport our Huldah. Otherwise, there will be trouble. The whole world will stop, because racism in today's world should not be encouraged. So I hope by her being elected in that parliament, she is going to calm Trump, so Trump cannot do whatever he said. Yes. Two, I want to also say
Osoro, what is out of order?
that Osoro just wants to interfere.
Take your seat.
Honorable Speaker, is the honorable member in order to impute improper motives on the president-elect of the United States of America, the 45th and the 47th president, President Trump, elected by the majority, who's won all the seats in all levels? Is she in order to impute improper motive that he wants to deport and intends to deport Huldah? I mean, can she table evidence? It is not possible. In fact, if it was Kamala, she could have deported Huldah.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Catherine Omanyo, remember the United States of America is a friendly nation.
Trump's policy, one of the policy, was to deport immigrants. I am only quoting what President Trump said. It is in his policy. I beg Honorable Soro to go and read.
The policy of President Trump
is to deport immigrants.
Is to deport illegal immigrants, not all immigrants. Least of all, no president of the United States can deport.
Is a Kenyan who happens to have gone abroad and gotten elected. So let us all celebrate as Kenyans.
Minority Whip, the nature of this engagement does not allow any more point of order. The Honorable Dido Raso, you want to say something in recognition of this excellence?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I join my colleagues in congratulating Huldah. In fact, last year in October, that is 2023, we visited the Minnesota State Parliament, and she was among those who conducted us. Actually, for the first time, we were able to see firsthand that the three arms of government can sit in the same building. And also, during that time, we were told that she was working closely with the governor of that state. She has broken the glass ceiling because, per se, she's not an American. She is a Kenyan American. And for her to discover those new horizons, then it means it is not a mean feat. It is a great achievement. So we congratulate her. She is not a Kenyan. Now she is an American. So thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, because the Honorable Chepkonga is engaged, I want to give Yeah, so do so in the shortest time possible. After that, we are going to the statement by the Honorable Mulyungi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I am speaking for and on behalf of Honorable Makilap. There's nothing, you are not biased. I am speaking on his behalf.
Did I hear a member to shout that the presiding officer is biased?
No, you are not biased.
Could that member have the courage to stand when the speaker is up and say so? Yeah, the speaker is never biased. The speaker is an impartial, neutral presiding officer of the House. Yes. Honorable Chepkonga will be heard in silence.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, can you protect me from Honorable Makilap and Honorable Mili? You know, Honorable Mili, she's a very good lawyer, and she should maintain that integrity. You don't want to lose it.
Honorable Chepkonga will be heard in silence.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, may I take this opportunity to congratulate Representative Huldah Momanyi. You know, I see people calling honorable. She's called Representative Huldah Momanyi. Mr. Speaker, you know, this tells you that the American dream is real. It is the land of the opportunity, where a Kenyan would go to the US and be elected. Mr. Speaker, I just want to remind you that the first Kenyan American president, Barack Obama, was elected the 43rd president of the United States of America. Mr. Speaker, I was in Minnesota, the twin city of Minnesota and Minneapolis in 1997. I was there for 5 weeks. At that time, Mr. Speaker, I was taken around by the Kisi community. At that time, Mr. Speaker, there were over 10,000 Kisis about 27 years ago. Mr. Speaker, and you know they were giving birth. So as we speak today, there must be in the region of 50,000. So electing a House of Representative person is easy, Mr. Speaker. And we want to congratulate those Kisis who live in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Mr. Speaker. It is a very nice city. For those who have never gone there, when there is winter, you don't need to come out of
Give Honorable Chepkonga 1 minute to be done, because I know he was easily distracted by the minority whip.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate it. Mr. Speaker, when I visited that city, in fact, it was during winter, and you can walk around in Minnesota without coming down. You're walking on the ground. There are routes which have been created from one building to the other. And Mr. Speaker, it is indeed a very modern city. And for one of our own to be elected in a first-class city like that one, Mr. Speaker, we truly are very grateful. Two, Mr. Speaker, as you know, Minnesota is a twin city. Is a twin city with Eldoret City, Mr. Speaker. Before we became a city, we were already having a relationship with Minnesota. So sorry, Mr. Speaker, I studied in University of Nairobi. So, you know, Honorable Mili should know, the only university that we had is the University of Nairobi. And Mr. Speaker, no problem. You went to the American University. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I want to congratulate the Honorable Momanyi. We don't want even to use the first name. We want to use the second name, Representative Momanyi. That, you know, that name itself, and coming from USA, Mr. Speaker, that is a feat. Now, I also want to congratulate Donald Trump. You know, Mr. Speaker, these are people who don't support LGBTQ like you and myself. Mr. Speaker, these are the group who are a problem. These are the group who are a problem. In fact, it is good that Trump won, so that Honorable Museveni, President Museveni, may have a breathing space, and their law becomes active in their country, Mr. Speaker. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I want us to want us to go to the statement of Honorable Owen. We want to go into main business. You know, when you stand as a leader, the speaker has difficulties sitting you down. Can you make your statement in not more than 2 minutes? Because we want to go to main business.
I will do that. Honorable Speaker, I want to join to congratulate Huldah, who I met in Texas when we went there. And she's a fine lady, and she will carry the Kenyan flag high, and we wish her all the best. But I think it goes to that point, Honorable Speaker. She may have no influence at all on what happens in this country. She's been elected in a state legislature, not in the Congress of the United States. So her value is more to the people of Minnesota and Minneapolis, and therefore we need just to speak as much. You know, we are building hype and expectation on someone who just, you know, is like a member of a county assembly, you know, and that is what it is. That is what it is. Yes, a state legislature. So we know the value. So I want to say this, but I want to...
Honorable Dido Raso.
I want to say this.
Honorable Owen Baya, you will have your seat.
Honorable Speaker, the deputy leader of majority is standing in his place to cast aspersion on success of a lady in far waters. Is he in order to say that it is just a county assembly? That is not a Kenyan equivalent. That is the state of Minnesota, much, much bigger than the Republic of Kenya.
Yes, ma'am. Deputy Majority Leader, I know you want to withdraw that part.
Say this,
It's a big achievement for an immigrant.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, it is such a big achievement for a Kenyan to be elected at the state legislature. But I want to say this, you know, the Honorable Ndindi Nyoro keeps on saying things that cannot be empirically measured. The Republicans were in office. Africa, though may have favor, but Africans suffer. Africans suffer because the Republicans have a soft spot for African strongmen. They do not, Honorable Speaker, push for democratization of Africa. They support strongmen and dictators in Africa. And that is one. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, Republicans are known for a lean government. Lean government. Let me say, the Republicans are known for lean government, a lean government. Lean government means they will cut funding in education, they'll cut funding in health, they'll cut funding in social care. And these are facts, Honorable Speaker. These are facts. A Republican president in the United States means, therefore, although they will not give grants to Africa, they will be giving loans at very high rates, and the economies in Africa struggle. Economies, yeah, is that correct? Yes, economies in Africa struggle when we have a Republican in there. They will give you very expensive loans. They will stifle trade with China. They will ensure that no...
Honorable members, we are recording our compliments to a Kenyan who has won an election. We are not here to diagnose the policies of Democrats, Republicans. Really, you know how to approach that if you wanted to go that way. Can we have the Honorable Mulyungi?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm not in the US. I'm on another subject. And I'll proceed on my subject. and I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Blue Economy and Irrigation regarding utilization of funds allocated for sinking of boreholes in Mwingi Central constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 44.2C, I wish to seek a statement from the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Blue Economy, Water and Irrigation regarding utilization of funds allocated for sinking of boreholes in Mwingi Central constituency during the financial year 2023-24. This House allocated money for construction of boreholes across the country to alleviate the challenge of water shortage, especially in arid and semi-arid areas. This House didn't, as part of Parliament's endeavor to facilitate access to ordinary Kenyans to their economic rights as envisaged in Article 43(1)(d) of the Constitution of Kenya. Specifically, Honorable Speaker, the House didn't graciously provide funding for 2 boreholes, one at Kavoko Primary School and another at Kalesi Primary School in Mwingi Central constituency. Each borehole was allocated 10 million, and the National Treasury didn't release the money to the implementing agency, namely Tanahadi Waterworks Agency. Of note, Honorable Speaker, is that this money was allocated following the area residents' outcry during public participation in Kitui County on the 2023-24 budget. However, Honorable Speaker, the implementing agency commenced the drilling of the 2 boreholes and then route to the point of finding water and abandoned the works before completion, citing lack of funds. Honorable Speaker, the area is very dry and residents usually walk 10 kilometers to fetch water from the few seasonal rivers, which also dry up during prolonged dry seasons like now. Hence, the boreholes would greatly have eased the residents' burden for searching for water. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I now seek a statement from the chairperson and in particular request for the following information. Number 1, why the implementation of the project was started without public participation of the local stakeholders and area residents who had in the first place requested the project. Number 2, why construction of the 2 boreholes was halted before completion despite full funding having been allocated by Parliament and released for the purpose of by the National Treasury. Number 3, when and how the boreholes were procured, details of contractors awarded the tenders, contract sums, and scope of the contract. Number 4, when the exercise will be completed and whether this could be expedited to alleviate the challenge of accessing water by the area residents. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Muliungi, your request for statement is directed at which committee?
The chairperson for Blue Economy and Irrigation.
The chairperson for the relevant committee. Is Honorable Rosa Buyu in that committee? Give her the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to confirm that I'm a member of that committee. My chair is engaged somewhere and is not in the House, but I want to confirm to the House that indeed I will relay the message or the question to him and he will take due action as expected, Mr. Speaker. Thank
By
you.
what time, Honorable Rosa Buyu?
Mr. Speaker, by the end of today, I will have relayed the message to him and he will therefore be able to.
By what time should the House expect the response?
Mr. Speaker, would I be in order to request for 2 weeks, Mr. Speaker?
2 weeks, Honorable Muliungi?
That's okay, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, that's fine. Relay the message and let us have the
Mr.
response
Speaker,
within
I
2
thank
weeks.
you.
Yeah, thank you. The statement request by Honorable Catherine Omanyo, MP. The Chair, Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations Committee is to respond. You have the response, Honorable Kirima. Do you have the response? Yes, I have. Yes, give Honorable Kirima the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. On behalf of the Chairman of Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Affairs, Foreign Relations Committee, In response to the request for a statement by Hon. Catherine Omanyo, MP Busia County, regarding the status of the fishermen in Bundarangi, Kenya, Uganda border area. Mr. Speaker, sir, the member for Busia County, Honorable Catherine Omanyo, MP, sought for a statement pursuant to Standing Order 44, subsection 2, on the harassment, arrests, and detention of Kenyan fishermen by Ugandan authorities at the Kenya-Ugandan border areas of Lake Victoria. She specifically raised the following concerns in a request for that statement. Steps being taken by the ministry with the government of Uganda to ensure that Kenyan fishermen in Lake Victoria are treated with respect and dignity, and that any disputes over fishing rights are resolved amicably and peacefully. B, statement, strategies put in place by the ministry to work with the Lake Victoria Fisheries Organization and other stakeholders to harmonize the fishing policies and procedures in the lake and to provide adequate support and protection to the fishermen, to the Kenyan fishermen. C, measures put in place to embrace security and surveillance in the Lake Victoria and to collaborate with Ugandan authorities to prevent and punish any acts of harassment and extortion against Kenyan fishermen and by Ugandan authorities. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee engaged the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs on the above concerns raised by Honorable Catherine Omanyo, MP. I therefore wish to respond to the issues as follows. Honorable Speaker, on the step being taken by the ministry to engage with the government of Uganda to ensure that Kenyan fishermen in Victoria are treated with respect and dignity, and that any dispute over fishing rights are resolved amicably and peacefully, the Kenyan embassy and its diplomatic staff have effectively mediated specific disputes by engaging with the Ugandan Ministry of Foreign Affairs during the Kenyan-Uganda joint ministerial meeting held in Nairobi from 12th October to 14th May 2024. Stressed the need to address harassment of fishermen in Lake Victoria, and the meeting underscored the need to harmonize fishing laws and streamline the issues of fishing permits to improve accessibility. In 2022, the two countries also signed the Defense Cooperation Agreement in 2022 to address the harassment of Kenyan fishermen in Lake Victoria. The Minister of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs is actively overworking alongside other line ministries to ensure the effective implementation of these resolutions. Kenyan missions in Kampala and Dar es Salaam continue to protect Kenyan interests by liaising with authorities to ensure consular access to detained citizens. And furthermore, these missions collaborate closely with the diaspora associations of Kenya, in Uganda and Tanzania, maintaining continuous updates from associations officials on the status of any detained Kenyans. Security committees within counties bordering Lake Victoria have been briefed to remain vigilant in safeguarding the welfare of their citizens. All reported cases of arrests and diligently followed up with the aim of securing justice for these affected people. Honorable Speaker, on the strategies put in place by the ministry to work with the Victoria Fisheries Organization and other stakeholders to harmonize the fishing policies and procedures on the lake and to provide adequate support and protection to fishermen, Kenyan fishermen. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya remains a committed member of the Victoria Fisheries Organization, an institution governed by the East African Community Treaty. Issues on Lake Victoria are primarily addressed at the bilateral level. Existing disputes concerning arrests have not been necessitated, escalated to regional forums. Kenya has established a robust mechanism to safeguard its interests on the Lake Victoria, including frequent patrols by the Kenyan Coast Guards, conducted in collaboration with Tanzania and Ugandan counterparts. These coordinated patrols are intended to foster peace and the equitable utilization of the resources in Lake Victoria. Mr. Speaker, sir, and the measures put in place to ensure security and surveillance in the Lake Victoria, and to collaborate with Ugandan authorities to prevent and punish any acts of harassment or extortion against Kenyan fishermen by Ugandan authorities. And in areas where jurisdiction lies within Kenyan waters, Kenyan authorities are fully empowered to investigate incidents and resolve issues through both administrative and diplomatic avenues. The regional administration ensures the safety and security of Kenyan citizens conducting business on Lake Victoria, and in instances involving foreign entities, matters are escalated through Kenyan High Commission in Uganda or the Ugandan High Commission in Kenya for a diplomatic response. I thereby submit and elect, and I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. For the Chairman, Nelson Koech. Thank you, sir.
The Honorable Catherine Omanyo. The Honorable Catherine Omanyo. Honorable
Thank you, Mr.
Makela,
Speaker.
when you stand on a point of order and you are not recognized, you go back to your seat and you remain silent.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Because it would be disorderly if you continued in the manner you are continuing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I was recently with the fishermen, and actually, since I read the statement, there's a lot that has improved, and I thank the committee and the Department for Defense for having stepped in and done some real work on that to harmonize the situation. It is good that as good neighbors, Uganda and Kenya, we shouldn't intimidate each other, but we should do things that we accommodate each other so that both of us, whether Ugandan or Kenyan, if you do business in either of the country, then we enjoy, we progress in harmony. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Millie Odhiambo, I know matters blue economy will not pass your attention.
Yes.
You have something to say?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for actually acknowledging that I come from Suba North, and the issues that have been raised by Honorable Catherine Omanyo affect my constituency very much, especially because my constituency borders Tanzania and Uganda at Remba, Ringiti, and Mfangano Islands. And the issue of harassment of fishermen is a very common thing. And Mr. Speaker, I know that even yourself, you are somehow affected. And we have even raised this issue with His Excellency, the President, and he indicated that they are going to actually undertake diplomatic action to ensure that this issue doesn't occur. Mr. Speaker, maybe Honorable Manyo didn't even indicate, but there are times that our fishermen are forced to eat raw fish when they are taken or when they are arrested in the waters. And so I would only want to encourage that there was a time that the government, I think there was Mr. Masharia, who was a commissioner in Homa Bay County, if I remember well, he was transferred to Nakuru County. And Mr. Speaker, he did an excellent job at that level that involved all leaders at that level, members of parliament, governors, and the Ugandan counterparts. And this went down very, very much. We even had numbers of Ugandan counterparts. So I'm just encouraging the honorable member, I know I'm in defense and I'll raise it in my committee, that while we are still waiting for that, so that our fishermen are not harassed, if we could go back to that system, and as members we are willing to be having those quarterly meetings, because it reduced the level of harassment, the killings, the jailings, the hefty fines. One boat is arrested and they are fined upwards of 100,000 shillings. Sometimes they call you as a member and you can't pay for 10 boats. That's $1 million. How can you deal with things like that? So, Mr. Speaker, if the honorable member could just speak up that, so that even as we raise it in the committee, those would be short-term measures to deal with those concerns. Thank you.
The MP for Funyula.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. One, whatever happens in Budalangi actually happens in Funyula. The harassment that happens in Budalangi actually happens in Funyula. So whatever answer he has provided probably more or less touches on Funyula. Honorable Speaker, we want to be very clear. We are tired of harassment by the Ugandan Defense Forces. They call themselves UDF, Uganda Defense Forces. The amount of harassment and torture our members go through is unbearable. And as Honorable Millie Odhiambo has said, the cost to our fishermen, the cost to us as members of MPs is now becoming unbearable. I know there has been concerted efforts between the two governments to resolve the matter, but it would seem the level of discipline among the UDF soldiers is too low because of the bad conditions they live in. Honorable Speaker, many times, those UDF soldiers at times do undertake those raids on their own without having been authorized by their seniors in Uganda. They do so because, Honorable Speaker, they harass and arrest our fishermen so that they can get money as a form of survival because they have no ways. They are never paid salaries and they never paid allowances. Honorable Speaker, I must commend the county commander and the county commissioner of Busia. Many times they have tried to, that they ask in Uganda is obnoxious, is extremely high, that our people are unable to afford. Honorable Speaker, the other strategy they have used is that they take the boats, those small boats, and destroy them. They damage and destroy them and actually ban them, Honorable Speaker. A peasant, a poor man from Funyula, from Dalangi, having spent almost 30 or 50,000 to fix a boat for survival, for livelihood, and then it's damaged. It's unbearable. It is now part of the problem of enhancing poverty in our area. We just hope now this time round, those concerted, I know, even the Ugandan side, there are also massive complaints. The other day we were at a place called Sigulu. I, the governor, the MP, Honorable Anjala, when we went to launch the water bus. And also the Ugandan fishermen bitterly complained of harassment by the UDF soldiers. I'm aware they indicated to a certain extent that they have passed some regulation in their parliament that's not going to take the soldiers out of the lake and entrust policing and monitoring to ensure that the fishing regulations are adhered to be given to fisheries officers. We just hope that is going to solve the problem. But let me conclude and say this, Honorable Speaker. The fish in Lake Victoria has no passport. The fish in Victoria is not stamped, whether it's Kenyan, Ugandan, Tanzanian, or it came from River Nile, from wherever, or it came back through backflow. It is fish that belongs to the people of East African community. Many times, Honorable Speaker, the breeding is in Kenya. For example, the one fish that goes to the Ugandan side, the breeding somewhere called Sigalame, where River Suo enters Lake Victoria. They only breed, and then they go to feed in the deeper waters in Uganda. So when we follow our fish, we are not committing any offense at all. And then, Honorable Speaker, they are not demarcated borders in the lake. So you cannot know whether you are now in Uganda, you are still in Kenya, you are in Tanzania. We must leave this African community. Did not come for the sake of it. It was supposed to bring unity and harmony. We continuously urge the committee to deal with this matter conclusively because I've raised this matter before. The answers have been given. Nothing has happened. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, the Honorable Kirima, your responses appear to be satisfactory. If there are any more inquiries or investigations or engagements the members want on the matter, the committee can move with them suo moto, and you still retain the mandate. But thank you very much. Honorable members, I want us to go to the next order. Honorable TJ Kajwang, you're not... what is the matter today?
Mr. Speaker, I'm waiting for business. I was here at 2:30. Up
Yes.
to now, the House has not transacted a single
So,
business.
next order.
No, this is not business.
You see, the Speaker is able to notice if there is a matter of concern for each and every member. Thank you, Honorable T.J. Kajon. Can you call the next order?
Order number 10, the Kenya Roads Board Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2024, second reading.
It has been moved. Mover to move. Kenya Roads Board Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2024. That is the bill being moved. Minority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Majority Leader. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I meant Minority Whip.
Oh,
sorry, Honorable Owenbai.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the Kenya Roads Board Amendment Bill number 18 of 2018. Honorable Speaker, this is a very important piece of legislation. Honorable Speaker, it's a very small bill, but the amendments that we want to make on this bill are very significant and have high ramifications. Honorable Speaker, and I am happy that Honorable Kajwang, T.J. Kajwang, actually reminded us that we need to go to business. We do too many preliminaries in this House than business, and I am happy that you have noticed that. Business now. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Roads Board Amendment Bill 2024 is a fantastic piece of legislation, and I just want to say what it is in a nutshell so that we can understand, so that as I move in the notes, we know what we are talking about. Honorable Speaker, the Kenya Roads Board has, as it stands right now, I think 14 members, 13 members. But we know, Honorable Speaker, that we must reduce the number of board members to align ourselves to the mwongozo as given, so that we come to the required number. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, we would like in this amendment, what we are trying to do is just to do one small thing. Delete the word 8 and substitute with 5. Just that. Delete 8, substitute with 5. So that now we have 5 board members in the Kenya Road Board. And Honorable Speaker, the bill also continues in the schedule to do only one simple thing. Remove some of the organizations that are supposed to sponsor members to the board. And which are these organizations that are losing membership? I think 3, because we are removing 3. We are the Kenya Institute of Surveyors of Kenya, the League of Kenya Women Voters, and the Kenya Association of Tour Operators. We remove those 3. We remain with 5. And then we add with the other 4. We have 9. And we are set, aligned. Simple. I don't want to use very many words in moving this moving this bill. So it is as simple as that. So, Honorable, yes, Honorable Speaker, if I like the question that Honorable Mili is. So, what are the institutions that will be nominating? The nominating institutions, if I remove the 3 I've suggested, is the Kenya Institute of Engineers of Kenya, the Automobile Association of Kenya, the Kenya Association of Manufacturers, and you know who are the leadership in the Kenya Association of Manufacturers. Then we delete 4. We delete just those 3 and remain at the Kenya Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Kenya Transport Association. Honorable Speaker, that is as simple as it is, and I wouldn't want to belabor, but only to thank the committee. Probably I need to thank the committee, the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure, for a job well done in compliance with constitutional and procedural requirements. I think the committee sat long hours and ensured that they have gone through the bill and they have given us these amendments, Honorable Speaker. And I also want to restate that we are trying to realign this law to the Mwongozo Code and the Constitution of Kenya, so that all other parastatals that we have fewer members, so that we reduce governance, we reduce number of people, we don't have those huge allowances and paying a lot of money, so that we align. So, Honorable Speaker, I just want to re-emphasize that We are proposing to delete the word 8 and substitute with 5 in paragraph H. This amendment reduces the number of persons that are to be nominated by representative organizations for appointment to the board from 8 to 5. Just that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request the MP for Buret.
Before you move, does the board then now have 5 members or the other members of the board?
Of course, there are other members that come in the PSAs and all that, so that, you know, they make 9, okay? Thank you. So I beg to move and ask the MP for Bureti, who is a member of the Committee of Transport, to actually second. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. A member of the
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. As I second this bill, 2 things should come into mind. That the proposal by Mwongozo, the Code of Governance for State Corporations, provide for between 7 and 9 directors. Kenya Roads Board has 13 directors. So the reduction is first to align to Mwongozo, and the nominating bodies, some of them do not have any positions to be able to nominate these people. So the reduction is actually both to create a lean, efficient board to be able to carry out its mandate well. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, you will remember as you've read through the bill, is to actually clean up the bill to align it to the Constitution 2010 by removing the words like minister and replacing them with the word cabinet secretary. So to that extent, Mr. Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I do propose the question that the Kenya Roads Board Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2024, be now read a second time. And before we do so, honorable members, allow me and join me in recognizing or welcoming the members, the students from Ngoswani Boarding Comprehensive School, Narok West, Narok County. They are welcome to follow the proceedings of this House this evening. The Honorable TJ, are you contributing?
Yes, I am. Mr. Speaker, the member for Kisumu, Kisumu West, so wondered that this is not business. I mean, that everything that has been going on has not been business. I want to tell her that business begins when we do legislation. So this is now real business. All those that we have been engaged with since 2:30 has been something else, but not business. Now, Mr. Speaker, when you look at the memorandum and the bill itself, you will see that some organizations have been listed there. The Institute of Surveyors of Kenya, for example, the League of Kenyan Women Voters, for example, the Kenyan Association of Tour Operators, for example. These are in Schedule 7.1, which defines the people that will nominate members to the board. At the point at which we transacted this business, Mr. Speaker, I remember you and I were in this House. We may have not had regard to the Mwongozo Code, and we may have considered persons who have nothing to do with the roads subsector. Institute of Surveyors, for example, League of Kenyan Women Voters, who I do not think they are a legal entity in the first place to be recognized in legislation. Kenyan Association of Tour Operators. This was a badly drafted bill at that time. And if you cared to look at what was the infamous finance bill, the infamous finance bill had these issues as miscellaneous amendments. But you know the fate of the the finance bill, and especially the Court of Law decided that that it was unconstitutional. So to that extent, we had a problem of legislation that we could not midwife this these amendments in miscellaneous law. So we are now bringing them as a standalone legislation to be able to clean up that act and also to clean up Kenya Roads Board, because these have financial implications. When you have 13 directors, they'd have to be paid or to be facilitated to do their work. When you have 13 directors, there is decisional problems. 13 people are unable to make decisions where 9 people would have made that decision. Members, this is straightforward kind of legislation to be able to clean Roads Board. And you know, Roads Board is the board that is able to collect RLMF, which we need for the construction of our roads and in our constituencies and so on. And so when they have this structural problem, decisional problem, I think this is an issue that the leader of majority is trying to correct. And so I support this. Thank you.
Honorable Kajwang, could the members who want to speak this go to intervention so that we can easily separate them from the other members? The Honorable Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I wish to support with amendments. Mr. Speaker, I'll be very brief, just as brief as the bill itself is. And I want to agree with Honorable Bayer that the issues that we are dealing with earlier are not considered as substantive business. The substantive business of the House begins now. And I think many members used to tell me before I became Minority Whip that they'd meet me at around this time, because I would come when it's time for substantive business of the House. But, Mr. Speaker, that doesn't mean that the issues that were being raised earlier are not substantive. For instance, we have spoken about issues of fishermen. That's substantive in itself. But they are not. It's like when you are meeting, there's an agenda and the AOB. It says that Parliament begins with the AOB, then goes to the substantive agenda. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I want to agree with the mover of the bill that if you look at some of the people who are put in the board, that they really didn't have any reason to be there. I know that I support women and the women's agenda, but having the Leave of Kenya women voters in the Roads Board does not really make sense. It would make sense if they are in a space that is political in nature or has something to do with women and representation. They are definitely registered, so they are a legal institute, perhaps. They may not be a body that is governmental in nature or semi-governmental in nature, but they are definitely registered, but they are in the wrong place. Having said that, the reason why I'm saying I would propose with amendments, and I know even though we want to follow the Mwongozo guidelines, but we must also still ensure that we have the 2/3 gender rule. And you have said that the Kenya manufacturers, we know the leadership right now is female. They are not cemented there. They will serve their time and they will move. We will never know. Maybe the leader there next time will be the CS for mining or something else. We don't know. And the person who will come after that may be a man. And if then we say that it's the CEO who comes, and we don't ingrain the issue of gender, then it means you can actually have a system where everybody who sits are all male. Mr. Speaker, I have said that there is a lot of good things coming out of Africa. So let us set the agenda for the world. Let us do the right things for the world by setting up good governance standards. If countries like America can't do it, who said the South can set the agenda? Let us set the agenda by telling them that we are more inclusive. We are gender inclusive, we are inclusive of youth, we are inclusive of persons with disability. And so for me, the amendment that I'm going to bring has to do with inclusion, so that the parts that you may not change, like PSS, you can't change whether PS who comes is a man or woman because they would already have been appointed. But when we are talking about these bodies, then you can tell them to appoint in a manner that reflects the ethnic face of Kenya, or rather the face of Kenya by ethnicity, that represent gender, that represent youth, that represents age and all those factors. Otherwise, I support with amendments.
Members, this is a very straightforward one. I thought this one we should be concluding in less than 10 minutes. Who wants to speak? Yeah, this one we should be done with as fast as possible. The Honorable Mwashako.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. As you've alluded to, and it was alluded by the mover, that this is a straightforward bill, but I just wanted to put my voice on a few things. Number one, Honorable Speaker, is that Kenya Roads Board is a very important board in this country, that we look forward to seeing that the board that manages, the sector, road sector in this country has the right people. And Honorable Speaker, when I look at a board like Kenya Roads Board, indeed moving the numbers from 13 to 9 in line with the Bongozo principle is a good thing. And it does not only save the country money, but it also makes decision-making easier and faster, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when it comes to corporate governance, Honorable Speaker, we must, as Parliament, and we must raise our voice so that these boards, as they come into office, they must realize that they are not there to run day-to-day issues. They are there to manage, and take care of all the stakeholders in the sector they operate in. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the board that will come to run the road sector in this country, as envisaged in the proposed bill, is to be sure that they work out equity and equality at the same time, Honorable Speaker. We know for a fact that we have so many roads projects that have been pending. We know challenges that we've had with the bodies under Kenya Roads Board, that is Kera, Kura, and Kenha. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, Kenya Roads Board has a bigger mandate to make sure that even the resources that go to these, the authorities is well balanced. Because we find, Honorable Speaker, almost all money is going to Kenha, and Kera has so many roads that they're not able to manage, not only to maintain, but they're not able to even improve the roads that are under Kera. And therefore, Kenya Roads Board plays a bigger mandate to make sure that the authorities under them get resources that facilitate their work, and not only just get resources to facilitate their work, they're also able to manage equity, because we see, and we've had hue and cry in this country, where some areas of this country have been complaining that they don't see the resources that go to roads in their areas. And therefore, Kenya Roads Board needs to raise above board and able to even to bring here to Parliament, to bring reports that show how roads budget have been cut across the entire country. Honorable Speaker, I'll tell you, and this discussion, I've had it not only with a number of MPs here, I've also discussed it with the Deputy Majority Leader, whereby you realize that there are areas of this country that every year, every budget, they have billions of money, and we have other areas, constituencies and counties that only have paltry, less than 100 million, and another constituency has 40 billion shillings. And therefore, Kenya Roads Board must, and this board that we're talking about here today, must raise above board and endeavor to bring in the aspect of equity in this country, so that every Kenyan and every region of this country can feel that the board membership are able to raise above, where they come from. Because there's this understanding where a member of the Kenya Roads Board comes, then money starts flowing immediately into the areas. And therefore, corporate governance will detail that they raise above board, they're able to look at the country as one country, they're able to look at areas that have been marginalized, that have remained behind. For instance, Chair, I want to mention that there are constituencies in this country that have no tarmac roads. And yet, if you follow through, you realize that Kenya Roads Board does not even realize that there are those constituencies in this country that have no tarmac roads. And they continue pushing money into counties that are already developed, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, I want to say that as I support this bill, that even as we get, we should get the right people to sit in these boards, so that then we can get this country moving, we can get the country to the next level, where every board in this country is able to practice the principles of good corporate governance. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Eric Muchangi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I will begin by saying that this is a very straightforward bill. And Honorable Speaker, It seeks to align the composition of the board to the Mwongozo Code of Governance, and therefore it is actually also going to save our country lots of resources and bring about order, and also expunge or remove those that are not actually very, very necessary from the board. And I believe that this is what is required of us to do as Parliament, to align this board to what is expected of the Constitution. But having said that, Honorable Speaker, I wish to say that this board, the Kenya Roads Board, has a lot to do, because from what I see from my constituency, and especially where we have the county government and the national government being expected to act on and do the roads within our jurisdiction, there is a lot of conflict sometimes that occurs when the county government insists that some roads will be attended to by the national government. But when we see what they are doing is that the county government and the governors want to take all the share of the resources that can actually be utilized by the offices of the members of parliament or the constituencies to ensure that our roads are done properly and timely. Honorable Speaker, I would recommend that going forward that we as a house need to look at how entities like Kenya Urban Roads Authority and Kenya Rural Roads Authority operate, in that KERA has a committee, the Constituent Roads Committee, that allows the offices of members of parliament to properly and adequately oversight the implementation of road projects in our constituencies. But there are always challenges when it comes to Kenya Urban Roads Authority, because they are domiciled mostly in Nairobi and sometimes in offices in the region that are not very much in touch with our constituencies. And you'll always find that there are challenges when it comes to oversighting those roads, and that does not always go very well with the people. So Kenya Roads Board has a lot to do, and I wish to support this amendment. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Makilap.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to thank you for this opportunity. And I have abandoned what I was about to do previously because of the goodwill of our majority leader. So, Speaker, I want to, first of all, support this amendment. So, Speaker, this is the right way to go as we follow the Mwongozo principle of management of our parastatals. Mr. Speaker, there is need to have a very lean, qualified board that will be able to discharge their duties, Mr. Speaker, in a manner that is fair and transparent. Mr. Speaker, it is time that boards of parastatals shall not become dumping ground of politicians or entities who would be going there to look for money or other things. We need to professionalize the boards of parastatals to ensure efficiency, effectiveness in their mandate. This board, this Kenya Roads Board, Mr. Speaker, why I'm passionate about it, Mr. Speaker, this was the brainchild of the member of parliament from Baringo North, one engineer, Andrew Kiptum, in 1997. Mr. Speaker, you can see that brain of one engineer, Andrew Kiptum, that has revolutionized the road sector. It is from his idea that we now have, from road sport to now extended authorities, the KERA, the KURA, the KENA, and by extension, this board disperses resources to KWS roads that's up in our game backs. It tells you, Mr. Speaker, that this board has a higher mandate to ensure that the resources reach the authorities in good time. Because this is the body that disperses the money called RMLF, the money that we collect from additional money that we charge on fuel. Mr. Speaker, we want to see growth of infrastructure, the roads in Kenya, across the Republic of Kenya, to be spread in as far as possible to the areas that has been perceived as marginalized for some years, Mr. Speaker. Because the fuel that Kenyans are fueling their cars today, Mr. Speaker, has a component of close to 25 shillings. And these resources through Kera, through Kura, and Kena and KWS must reach all the corners of our country. I agree with the Speaker that spoke before me, that Kenya Roads Board, the board must not also become corrupt or be people who would want to be enticed by the authorities so that they keep money based on how their friendship with the director generals of the authorities, of the road authorities, or becomes a negotiator tool where you negotiate for what must go to Kura, what should go to Kena. I think, Mr. Speaker, we need to now revise the sharing of the sharing formula of the resources to Kura, Kena, and Kera, because there are many roads that serve the people of Kenya under Kera. Most of the roads that are open today were those who are established. So, Mr. Speaker, we also want to review. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader needs to pay attention on this. Mr. Speaker, this board must now review classification of roads so that they bring more roads that are under county governments, that are poorly managed, that are impossible. Bring them back to Kera so that they can be financed under Kera. Because we have seen, Mr. Speaker, the roads that are done under Kera in our constituencies are done properly, Mr. Speaker. But the ones that are in the county government, in fact, to a state where counties where they find a road that has been done under Kera, they go and put a banner to say it is county governments who have done. Mr. Speaker, this Kenya Roads Board, Mr. Speaker, the leader of majority at least has come back. This point is very important. We need again now to do reclassification of our roads so that they can now go to Kera and Kena. We bring more roads from the county governments because they are unable to do it. And this is the board that must do it. So, Mr. Speaker, reducing the numbers and making it effective and qualified, Mr. Speaker, it means we shall have an efficient board. I also call upon the leader of majority and government to go ahead and sort out other boards that are excess, that are not in accordance to Mongoso, so that we save more money for medicine. We save more money to go to infrastructure of schools. The CPC curriculum is getting strained because of lack of resources. So when we reduce the boards across, which are excess, we shall have enough savings to be able to finance other programs that are critical in this particular country, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this is straightforward, but I call upon the majority leader and the government to expeditiously move and bring amendment in all other boards so that they are reduced to the correct number and become effective, Mr. Speaker. I support, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Makilab. The Honorable Rindikiri Mugambi will be followed by Honorable Gichim, who would be the last contribution before the mover replies.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the matter at hand is very critical in the learning of the corporate institutions of this country. From the outlet, I do support the amendment that has been brought forward. But, Mr. Speaker, I am more concerned not with the numbers. I'm concerned with the performance of state corporations. Mr. Speaker, Kenya Loans Board plays a very critical role in managing finances that have been collected by taxpayers through the fuel levy, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is like Kenya Roads Board lands a secret business because you never know when they'll do the classifications. Mr. Speaker, you never hear open communication that they are calling out classification of loans, Mr. Speaker. It's a worrying threat. I'm calling upon the Kenya Loans Board as we move forward. They must come up with a schedule of classification of loans, Mr. Speaker. Because if you go to Kenya Loans Board right now, you'll find some loans that are not...
Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Article 113(2) of Constitution and Standing Orders 153, this House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the National Rating Bill, National Assembly Bill number 55 of 2022, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 5th November 2024, and approves the mediated version of the National Rating Bill, National Assembly Bill number 55 of 2022. Honorable Speaker, the bill is sponsored by the Leader of Majority Party and seeks to enhance property rating systems at the county level and align national and county interests in property taxation. The Mediation Committee was formed under Article 112(2)(b) of the Constitution to reconcile the differences arising from the amendments proposed from the Senate to the bill. The Senate proposed the amendment key clauses in the bill, which changes primarily intended to enhance clarity, streamline processes, and ensure cooperative governance between national and county levels. The Mediation Committee has reviewed each of these amendments carefully, deliberated extensively, and made informed resolutions. Key areas of agreement and the mediation. Under Clause 2, definitions, the Mediation Committee accepted to revise definition of valuation role and insert the definition of the chief government valuer, proposed by the Senate to improve clarity. However, the Mediation Committee did not adopt the Senate's proposal to redefine occupier, as existing provisions sufficiently define the term. On Clause 12, Clause 20, Clause 30, and Clause 32, the Mediation Committee agreed with the amendments proposed from the Senate regarding consultation with the Council of Governors to foster collaboration and accountability between national and county levels. Under Clause 32, the Mediation Committee adopted the amendments proposed from the Senate that requires county assemblies to approve valuation roles within the specified time frame, adding predictability to the property valuation process. Honorable Speaker, clauses not adopted, and there are various reasons. Under Clause 56, the Mediation Committee did not adopt the amendments proposed from the Senate to standardize technological systems across counties for valuation roles preparation, respecting counties' autonomy to choose suitable systems based on individual needs. Under Article 34, the Mediation Committee proposed an alternative approach amendment proposal from the Senate by redrafting subclause 6 to establish a structured process for handling objections to valuations involving County Valuation Board before disputes escalate to a tribunal. New clauses for enhanced framework. New clause 24A on the chief government valuer. The committee adopted the proposal to introduce a clause to establish the office of the chief government valuer to provide an advisory role essential for consistent national guidance on property valuation. New clause 30A on supplementary valuation role. The Mediation Committee adopted amendments proposed from the Senate to delete and separate certain subclauses under clause 30 and redraft them as clause 30A that will contain specific provisions regulating preparation of supplementary role to enhance clarity. Mr. Speaker, conclusion and the recommendation after a thorough process of analysis and negotiations, the mediation committee believes that the proposed resolutions balance the interest of both houses and serve the purpose of advancing efficient property rating across the counties. I urge this House, Mr. Speaker, to adopt the report of the mediation committee as it represents a collaborative effort to strengthen governance in property rating and valuation, ensuring accountability and consistency across our counties. Honorable Speaker, I move and request Honorable George Ndungu, who is a member of Lands Committee, to second. Thank you.
The Honorable George to second.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to second this mediation committee report on the National Rating Bill 2022. Therefore, I second.
Honorable members, I propose the question. Pursuant to the provisions of Article 113, Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution, and Standing Order 150, Sub-3, this House adopts the report of the Mediation Committee on the National Rating Bill, National Assembly Bill number 55 of 2022, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 5th November 2024, and approves the mediated version of the National Rating Bill, National Assembly Bill number 55 of 2022. The Honorable Dr. Wilberforce Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me commend the committee for coming up with a mediated version of the National Rating Bill. And Speaker, I'm a happy man today because quite a number of amendments had moved when the bill was in the committee of the whole House in this particular National Assembly, when I was seated here. And I think the chair was either Martha or David. Honorable Speaker, when disregarding the nature of Parliament, they disregarded all my amendments amid heckling and booing that was typical then of this particular Parliament. I'm happy, Honorable Speaker, many of those amendments have found their way back into the bill. And that's why, Honorable Speaker, we always say, when everybody does, we walk into that hall, that door, to take an oath to become members of Parliament, we come here with different professional leanings. We have some ideas, some technical ideas that can help move this country to the next level. Honorable Speaker, this is my forte. This is my area of practice. So when I stood here and told them how we can do it to make it work better, many of them thought it was the typical abrasive nature that we deal with our things. But I'm happy that it is a better version compared to what we passed here. But still much more can be done to improve on the bill. Honorable Speaker, my only concern, and this is a matter probably the fullness of time we might have to address, this thing called Council of Governors. It does not exist in the Constitution. It does not it's not a commission under the Chapter 256 commissions. It is not. So I wonder on what basis would even the Cabinet Secretary consult them? What's the framework? What views will they give that can find their way into regulations? But that's something I leave to the lawyers to deal with. But in the fullness of time, we must define this mongrel called the Council of Governors. Because, I mean, we should just treat them like any other Kenyan who can come and give their views here and there. But nevertheless, Honorable Speaker, it's commendable work. We can work on it. But eventually, again, Honorable Speaker, I want again to go on record. Rating is a county function. And that is an inescapable provision of our Constitution. Ideally, when you are legislating on behalf of the county government, I would have imagined this should have taken the position of an adoptive law, that the county governments can adopt this law as a model document and modify to suit the circumstances as situation might be. There's some sense of it in this bill where the issue of strike rate and the rest are left to the county legislation. But truly speaking, a rating bill of this nature...
I hope you are listening to Dr. Wilberforce Ounda.
A rating bill of this nature is an adoptive law. But since in the wisdom, I just hope nobody will go to court and make Parliament look as if it does not have legal minds in this matter. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Good job. I support this mediated version. Thank you.
Does the Honorable Cynthia Muge want to contribute to this? Give her the mic.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity given to me to be able to contribute to this motion. And Honorable Speaker, these are very, land issues are emotive issues in this country. But I want to appreciate this amendment, Honorable Speaker, or the report that has gone through the mediation committee. Honorable Speaker, I am a supporter of devolution. And for devolution to work, Honorable Speaker, they must be enabled because the person that provides most of the capacity building is the national government and the National Assembly on matters of legislation, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, in support of this, I have realized that county governments and national governments coexist and they work interdependently. They depend on each other because, Honorable Speaker, at some point, even if you're an officer of the national government, you must at some point liaise with someone who is working with the county government. And on this matter, Honorable Speaker, of the National Rating Bill and the functions that actually covers this particular matter, Honorable Speaker, I am happy that the county assemblies have been given a role through the mediation, the mediated version of the bill, so that they're able to ratify, they're able to go through the valuation, especially the valuation role, Honorable Speaker, when it is brought to the county assemblies. Honorable Speaker, this way we are able to we're able to capture the nitty-gritties and the specific situations and scenarios that play out in different counties in our country, Honorable Speaker. And I really think that is very commendable. Honorable Speaker, previously, if you looked at this bill, it used to have the functions of a valuer, but it did not create the office of the valuer. I am happy, Honorable Speaker, that through this bill, we have been able to establish the office of the Chief Government Valuer. Honorable Speaker, I'm also happy that the issue and the contestation between the people who went to the School of Built Environment, including me, myself, Honorable Speaker, there is a very hot contest between who should be this valuer. Should be a quantity surveyor, should be a surveyor, there was a contest. And I'm happy, Honorable Speaker, that the responsibility to choose who fits in this particular office, Honorable Speaker, has been given to Public Service Commission. Public Service Commission, Honorable Speaker, will be able to put into perspective the exact roles of this particular office and even the officers who are supposed to be in this office, Honorable Speaker. And I think this will bring to an end the pull and push between who should be a valuer in this particular office, Honorable Speaker. And I feel like this is one of the very good amendments that have been done to this particular bill, Honorable Speaker. I also appreciate the involvement of the Council of Governments, Honorable Speaker, Council of Governors. Honorable Speaker, for a very long time, we've had tussles and court battles that have been brought to court by the governors, Honorable Speaker. And the only reason that they cite, Honorable Speaker, is lack of involvement. I am glad that this bill, Honorable Speaker, has endeavored to cure that particular disease that we have had to deal with for so many years in this country, Honorable Speaker, since devolution came in. That the Council of Governors will be given a say through their structures, as much as my counterpart, Honorable Undo, says they are not recognized in the Constitution, Honorable Speaker. Yes, they are not recognized in the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, but we endeavor to have a seamless working relationship so that we can stop going to the courts, Honorable Speaker. And I think, Honorable Speaker, we should actually work in a way that we put the structure of the Council of Governors into the laws and the Constitution of this country, so that, Honorable Speaker, we will stop the small fights that are actually causing delays and hurting service delivered to the people of Kenya and not actually serving the interests of the people as a whole, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I support this bill, and I hope that the members of this House will support it so that the people down there, the people in the devolved system, can be able to also access these services. Honorable Speaker, when you go to our offices or our counties, Honorable Speaker, you find that the valuer, as was previously, is one person that is found in a situation that you cannot tell exactly. You cannot pin it to a constituency, and you cannot exactly pin it to a sub-county, because there are sub-counties, Honorable Speaker, that have more than one ACC, and there are others that have one ACC, Honorable Speaker. And I think this, Honorable Speaker, is going to help us so that we can then structure it and make it accessible to many people. As you know, Honorable Speaker, the dealings of land, especially in the recent days, has become so much, and the office is getting busier than it was previously. And this service, Honorable Speaker, needs to be taken down to the lowest level of devolution, so that, Honorable Speaker, we are also able to cure the fraud that is involved in land, and also the lack of knowledge, Honorable Speaker, because the closer the office, the closer the services, and the closer the civic education, so that our people can also know what is the procedure, what is the cost, why do I have to pay certain amount of money when I live in town, why do I not get to pay money, Honorable Speaker, when I am using the land for other purposes other than commercial. So, Honorable Speaker, I support this bill, and I hope that the members of this House will support it, so that you can be able to take those services back at home, and also make sure that the people who are given the opportunity, especially in that office, are qualified and are able to tackle the issues that are involved in this land issue, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Cynthia Mugwe, thank you for that eloquent contribution. But you answered one limb of the issues Dr. Wilberforce Oundo is a non-expert in this area was raising. But the other one is remaining. The one that remains is, if I heard Dr. Oundo clearly, is asking whether the National Assembly could be legislating for counties in areas where each county should be having their own county assembly and acting a law that is specific to their needs. I don't know whether that is for you or it would be for the mover to respond, maybe. I was just tracing it with you because of your eloquent articulation of the matters and your prior background, career background.
Well, Honorable Speaker, thank you. Of course, I must confess that I do not have a very satisfactory answer to the Honorable Oundo, who happens to be an expert in this particular sector. But having worked in the county assembly previously and having legislated, and like I said, Honorable Speaker, it is the job of, since devolution came in, the job of making sure that we are capacity building the counties and the county governments, including the county assemblies, lies in the national government, because they have established structures. Honorable Speaker, if I must say in this House, the prayer in the county assembly has a very small difference with the prayer that is done here in the National Assembly. So, Honorable Oundo, we might not really know how to deal with the specific issues in the counties, but we must provide a structure that at least every county assembly should be able to adopt and should be able to make it better and suit their situation down there. So, Honorable Speaker, of course, we cannot legislate for the county assemblies, but we can lead the way because we are the bigger house.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Rindikiri Mugambi.
Mr. Speaker, I think I don't have much, but I think I want to commend the committee for finding it good that we go through this process of arbitration and coming up with a compromise on the way forward. It's true, land is very emotive. It's true that there are so many disparities in the way various counties are operating at the moment. Mr. Speaker, you also find that in the same county, you could have one constituency, one town, urban called urban center, the other one is called a market, the other one is called a city. And all this brings about differences in letting. So I think in matters of registration, it is very important that we have somebody competent with a capacity, Mr. Speaker, who can be able to manage the process so that we are going to have very unifying, not very much accommodative, but unifying way of letting within various counties. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I support and I really congratulate the committee, but I still have a problem, just like Dr. Oundo has. Is Council of Governors a legal entity That's the bigger question, because they are executing a lot of influence in decision making, either by the legislating body, National Assembly, or the county assembly. So we must be very careful that we will get their views, yes, but their influence should not surpass the administration arm of the two houses. I think that's the biggest problem and something that we really have to deal with going forward. We can listen to them as one entity, but we cannot take them as an authority, because in legal terms or in constitutional matters, they are not recognized as in the Constitution. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Geoffrey Rocco, the MP for Mbeere North. You want to contribute to this? Or you're on the line for the next issue? Certainly not on this. Now, there being no further interest, I now call upon the mover to reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to reply, and also that the mediation committee has reviewed each clause and the amendments in this bill. And for the first time, Honorable Speaker, I sat in the mediation committee comprising the Senate members and the National Assembly members. And I really want to thank their input, thank them for their input on coming up with these harmonious amendments. Honorable Speaker, this bill seeks to incorporate mostly the county governments through the COG, Council of Governors, with the national government to consult while preparing evaluation roles. And as suggested by the members and are supported by the members, I think a lot of input has gone into this from experience, people working in the county governments and the national government. And I think I believe this bill has been put together by conversant people relating to a national rating bill. So I therefore beg to reply. Thank you.
The Chairperson Mediation Committee on the National Rating Bill, let me start by commending you for representing the National Assembly well and the institution of Parliament in the mediation team. I know this is your first term in Parliament. I can assure you, I know not of any member who has had the occasion at first term to so ably chair a mediation committee and to so ably present the mediated version of a bill between our two houses of Parliament, the National Assembly and the Senate. So congratulations, and I'm happy with this far you have done. For the convenience of the House, the question to the motion appearing in the order paper as number 11 will be put when it will be next scheduled for consideration by the House Business Committee. The Honorable Koimburi, what is out of order?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise for a point of order. Number 35, there is no quorum in the House. Thank you.
You mentioned standing order number 35, the matter of quorum. You're right, ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes. Stop the bell. Thank you. Be upstanding, honorable members. Honorable members, and the time being 6:29 p.m., this House stands adjourned until Tuesday, it's Tuesday, 12th or 13th? The 12th day of November 2024 at 2:30 p.m.